As you guys come in, hit that like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. You're catching this on a replay. Hit that like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. Got an excellent show ahead for you guys. The main topic is people are living day to day on survival mode. The modern struggle. The modern struggle. I got this clip from 8 at the Table that we're going to scrub through, and we're going to break this down. In this video, they are discussing why modern women are delaying motherhood and choosing to give birth after 40, whether the government-backed baby bonuses and cash incentives actually work, the role of economic pressure, career goals, and dating culture and family planning, how financial instability and high cost of living impact decisions to have kids, what Gen Z and millennials are really saying about parenthood and legacy, and the list goes on. So we're going to have a great discussion and see how you guys feeling about this. Sound good?
Excited.
Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start running this clip, and then we'll go and get it. So I'll probably play about 4 or 5 minutes of it, and then I'll stop. So here we go.
They close. I got to be up at 6. Yo, dog, people are living literally, fam, where they don't get a free moment to think about nothing but what they got in front of them. So you asking them to think outside a box that they don't even know exists. Fam, niggas got 2 jobs. We just said you might have a kid at home or 2 kids at home. You got 2 jobs. Might be in a single parent household. Fam, the mom is on a fucking hamster wheel. You privileged, yo.
Alan's not thinking
You
about
sound like a
struggle.
fucking Republican, yo. Read a book. You can get better. Pull
You
yourself
have 1
up by
hour
your
a day.
bootstraps, yo, dog.
Let's just say that they're on public transportation. I'm saying that because we're in New York.
That hot ass bus.
They don't have AC on the buses?
I don't know.
Oh. You're privileged. You're privileged.
I said it. We privileged.
But I'm just saying, like, Alan, real talk, if you somebody that is on this hamster wheel, you have to think about it. When you're on that train or that bus, you sleep.
True.
You trying to get that little extra 30 minutes. Ain't nobody reading no damn book.
You about to go home to a 3-year-old that's gonna drive you up a fucking wall. So that's your
time to yourself.
I think we could take a note from the Mexican culture. Honestly, I'm not even being funny.
How?
Because since I delivered to all warehouses, and most of the employees are Mexican, and that is their first job or second job. They just run shifts all day. If the government would actually would respect them and ask them how they do it, or like we would take a note from how they do it, we would see what you're talking about, like how to get out of it, because they don't have those privileges that we have.
But they also coming from they have a more they have a reality of what life could be like.
That privileged.
To compare that is not here. They know what it's like to be in a different country.
The privilege is in America,
and
opposed to
be clear. The longer they stay here, their mind state shifts.
Yeah.
Like I've owned a construction company for 20 years. Fam, some of them niggas are spoiled as fuck now. They came over here because, again, you got to think what some of them are coming from is literally a compacted dirt floor.
Yep.
Like they sleeping on a dirt floor. So now they come here. Some of them, I remember, like you go in basements and niggas just got sheets hanging up and it's a cot and a dresser. So a lot of them, they take their money every day with them because they can't leave it in the spot because the niggas steal it. Right? So they carry their whole net worth around on them at some time. But then that grows. Now they got an apartment. Now they might just be renting a whole room. Now they ain't in the basement no more. They renting a room. And that grows into an apartment. And then this and that. Bro, they start to get lazy as a fuck and entitled just like everybody. The human nature here in America is relaxation, ease of, you know what I mean? Like
peace, rest.
It grows onto them as well. Like
rest be death.
That doesn't exist in India?
I'm going to stop it there. Why do you feel so many people are stuck in survival mode today? Why do you feel so many people are stuck in survival mode today? Start with you first, Swing. Go ahead, DJ. I see you came off the mic. Go ahead.
How you guys doing? I just think that a lot of people were not taught right. I know that sometimes, like the gentlemen were saying, well, I get it, we're privileged, but I don't think it's a privilege thing. I think it's a privileged mindset thing. So it's a mindset of being taught value. It's a mindset of being taught balance, regardless to what status or financial background you come from, neighborhood or whatever. I've seen the best surviving people today come from nothing. But again, I think it's all about where we choose as characters as we're young and who we choose to be around, if that makes sense. And I'm gonna just digress there so that you can understand where I'm coming from.
All right, go ahead, Ray. What about you? Why do you think so many people are stuck in survival mode today?
It's actually similar to what she was saying. I would say it's because it's lack of awareness, lack of education. If you weren't taught growing up wealth management, wealth building, things like that, how would you know? And a lot of times in our community, we are not taught those things, and those things are kept from us purposely. So
All right, go ahead, Ali.
I mean, if you're looking at the cost of living, inflation, if you're looking at the amount of money people are making in the country versus how much production you need to be able to take care of a family, own your own home, own your own house, people in survival mode because the state of the economy and state of the governments that put people in those positions. So even through the course of time, we always been survival mode, but I think the quality of human beings were different in today's quality of people. But no matter what, the inflation is up, the price of cost of living is still up, and there's a higher demand on people to live versus you being able to focus on just the quality of life and the quality of friendships and family. So as long as the prices keep increasing, people are going to have to focus more on survival than they can on their actual relationships with people.
I want to add something.
Go ahead, Amir.
America is not a country for old people. And I say that for a reason, just hear me out, because other countries, if anybody's ever lived in a different country, you would know the pace is a lot different. A lot of people, it's a lot slower pace to live in other nations. Reason is because when you buy your house in other nations, that's your house. Nobody can take it from you. You don't have to pay for taxes. There's nothing else to pay to the government once you finish paying for your house. Here in America, even after you buy your house can still be taken from you, which puts humans in a state of nothing is forever. I have to keep grinding. I have to keep going. America is a country for young working people. When I turn 65, I am leaving this country. As much as I love America, God bless America, I will not be an old person in this country having to work and having to think about taxes and having to think about my property taxes. And I can't keep my house if I don't pay the property taxes. Houses have been taken from people in their 80s because they didn't pay property taxes, even though they paid off their house 30 years ago. That is what's keeping Americans in a state of survival mode. Like, I have to keep going. And if I don't keep going, things can get taken away from me. And other countries aren't like that. That's why he brought up the comparison with the Mexicans. Mexicans don't even work the full day. They work at the beginning of the morning, take a rest, and when the sun is at its hottest, and then go back to work around 5, 6 p.m. You can't do that in America. In America, they're like, once you get up, you got to work that 8-hour shift straight. And then when you go home, you can't even raising kids. There's so many rules and regulations that it makes it so hard to be a parent. I don't want to rant, but I'll just leave it there for now. But I have so much I want to talk about on this topic, but I'll stop there.
All right, go ahead, straight like that. Why do you feel so many people stuck in survival mode today?
Amira brought up a good point, but I'm going to kind of shift it because I think ultimately what I get from it is he mentioned the Mexicans, and when they come here, they adopt the American lifestyle. So most of y'all don't know, but I was born in Jamaica, so I came here when I was young. And they sold us the American dream early for Caribbean people, you know what I'm saying? So coming here, we're like, come to America, land of the free, you can get your dreams done or whatever. And so being here and then visiting Jamaica now, I'm like, they kind of lied. I was free there. And then I came here and became unfree. See what I'm saying? So, and America's #1 export is the culture. And the culture is it promotes, I would say, entitlement in a sense, right? So everyone in America feels entitled. If you can't Uber Eats, it's whack or whatever. If you can't get, if there's not a mall, if you don't stitch your own clothes, and if you don't travel, you don't see how some people live, then you won't understand the concept of like what hard work really is. But I think it speaks to a deeper issue spiritually, just in the sense of like that American culture spreading. And are they purposely trying to make us lazy so the government kind of takes on some of the things that we should be able to do as people? So I think, as Amir says, it's deep. It's really deep. The rabbit hole goes deep on this one. But that's what I think the struggle is. It's the culture itself, and how it promotes itself.
All right, go ahead, Sweeney.
So I wanted to kind of piggyback on what Straight Like That said. I don't think it's necessarily entitlement culture, but when you live in a country that's pretty much as blessed as ours is, you find ways to make things far more convenient. The problem is it kind of goes to what Ali said. The more convenient we made things, they just kept raising the price on us. No matter how productive we got, no matter how much we produce, no matter how much manpower we put into it, no matter how easy we made everything, they just kept driving the price up. And I think that's where to Ali's point, that's where we ran into the problem at. Y'all increased the cost of everything, even though we made everything cheaper to make. It's a whole lot cheaper to do things, but y'all keep charging us more. And when people trying to keep up just to make ends meet, when your average American don't have $1,000 to satisfy an emergency in this country, of course people are living on edge. You could be broke the next day just off of one illness. Somebody gets sick in your family, you get sick in your family. The water heater goes out. Air conditioner go out. You need to, or if you live in Texas right now and the storm come through and knock the shingles off your roof, and they telling you it's going to cost you $9,000 to replace it because you got to pay a $9,000 deductible because wind and hail damage is 2 to 3% of your house, 2 to 3% rather than just 1%. And they tell you got to do that just to replace a few shingles on your roof. And then if not, you said what?
You got to pay that type of money on a house that's crappy too.
And then what's tripped out about it is that, damn, I lost my train of thought. Damn, but y'all know what it is, man. And I know what I was about to say. And then what's tripped out about it is that insurance companies can literally come through and tell you, you know what? We had way too many insurance claims in your area. We're not doing no more insurance in your area. And if you're going to do it, we're just going to keep jacking the price up on you. So we live in a country where we made things easier than it's ever been before. We made delivering food easy. We made producing food easy. How they give us cheaper products. My wife was telling me that y'all remember the old hamburger helper meals? Y'all remember it used to come in a box and shit? They said it used to be made with real cheese. And I always wondered, like, this shit tastes different now. It used to be made with real cheese. So you're giving us cheaper shit and then jacking up the price on us. So this is why people on edge. Life costs a whole lot more than it used to, but you're getting paid a lot less than what you used to in comparison to the cost of living.
All right. What's going on, Mrs. E? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Darwin. What are your thoughts about that? Why do so many people feel stuck in survival mode today?
Everybody made some really good points. But I would say people are stuck in survival mode because they were raised on rebellion and emotions instead of structure and obedience. They wait till they're too old to take advantage of opportunities. The point they become ineligible, like, for example, like the military or something. They follow and surround themselves around people who inspire them to make poor choices that disqualify them from opportunities like committing crime or doing drugs. You know, they reject correction, hate accountability, and think discipline is abuse. So they live paycheck to paycheck, drama to drama, relationship to relationship, because no one ever taught them how to follow order. And in my book, stability requires submission to something greater than yourself. Most people would rather defend their dysfunction than try to fix it.
All right. Do you guys think the immigrants can teach us something about work ethic or sacrifice? Anybody can speak on it.
No, we've
I
been
do.
Hell
surrounded.
yeah.
We've been
I mean,
surrounded
heavy
about.
yeah.
You say
Yes,
yeah?
I do. Absolutely, 100%. I live amongst Mexicans and other immigrants, and their work ethic is impeccable. I see it firsthand every day.
Okay, I agree that people outside of our culture or black culture, black people, may be doing things well that if we mimic those things, we may be able to yield the same results. I agree with that. But I believe they can teach us that. I believe our minds and our mentalities are hardened to the point to where we won't even allow ourselves to absorb any help or any advice from other races. We was just on the panel the other day, and I think you played a clip about a black sister sitting in her car wondering why white women were able to succeed so much in marriage. And then the sisters on the panel was infuriated while one of the panelists saying, hey, look, maybe you should ask the white women, how were they able to win? I mean, it makes sense if somebody's doing something and they getting the results you want. What's wrong with asking them, hey, how can I do the same thing? I think I don't want to say I think it's a hatred towards the other race. And you don't want to be seen as asking somebody for help that maybe oppressed you in the past or was historically looked like your oppressor. So I think it's a pride thing that gets in the way. So it may be a pride thing that will get in the way of us asking Mexicans, hey, how can we adopt the structure and principles and standards or whatever motivating tools you use to push yourself to get the results you want? I know everybody ain't agree with that. I'm interested to hear what everybody else got to say.
Well, to the white woman point, I would just say this. You said if somebody was winning, why wouldn't you ask them how they're winning? Well, from my experience among working with white women, being friends with them, going to college with them, they actually feel that black women are winning, and they actually admire our freedom and our knowledge of selves and our elevation, and the reason that we're basically leading in just about everything when it comes to up and coming businesses, up and coming founders, brands, wealth, those types of things. So
Well,
the conversations, I don't know how many conversations you actually have with white women, but they don't necessarily feel that they're winning in marriage. That's why you see them getting so many divorces and trying to find their way now.
Do you think what you know about black women, or what did you think white women think of black women, how accurate does that align with today's data and statistics on business and economics and socioeconomic status?
Which part of SES doesn't it align with? I don't understand.
Well, what if I told you that black women specifically earn less by a significant margin than their white counterparts, even at their college degrees?
Are you saying earning? I was talking about founders and actually owning businesses, not being employees.
So it doesn't matter if the business is failing, just as long as they founded it and they own it.
No, black women own significantly way more businesses than white women and are much more successful in business than white women overall. I mean, have you all read any of the articles by Forbes? They did a very interesting article, and so did Harvard, on why black women are the most successful CEOs.
I read a lot of those articles. I do a lot of research every day. I binge through articles, and I can tell you that maybe perhaps these white counterparts that you were talking to, maybe they were referring to winning in the business lane as far as
Yeah, that's
becoming
what I was thinking.
entrepreneurs. But as far as winning in life, period, when it comes to relationships and the overall goal of being a productive human being, I would, it don't have the ring of truth to that side. You know what I'm saying?
You feel that Black women are not being productive human beings?
Do I feel that Black women are not being productive human beings? I don't feel like Black women are being productive in the lane of having family structure and building families.
And what does a family structure look like to you?
To me, husband, wife, children, nuclear family.
Okay.
Can I just interject really quick, please?
Okay.
Asian is actually the highest earners, and Black and white are actually neck and neck. And the space of what she's saying and the space of what you're saying are both valid, but in different stats in the space. But I will say this, though. You just have where the white men with their white wives then put them onto business by putting things in their names to evade taxes. And let me not start, because that can go down another rabbit hole. So independently, where the Black woman and the Asian woman have dominated business owning solely, which is why the white women, which she is saying, because I too as well went to white entities and schools and been around them and worked with them all my life. And I come from a whole left side of my family. So I know where they get their money. Generally, it's the married. They're able to obtain, what you said, Darwin, is amazing, because that's true. The video, and you didn't say it. So you didn't say it. You said a clip you saw previous. You didn't say your feelings. You said a clip. And so off that clip, yes, white women do obtain marriages. Matter of fact, they keep getting married and get married and married and married. Yes, they just know how to obtain a relationship. Now, all the other semantics of that, yeah, like she said, that doesn't mean they're happy. They actually love their one black friend they have, because it allows them to live. It allows them to feel free, because they're in cage and in prison with businesses and they're miserable and they drink themselves. Let me not go there, because my aunt just passed away from my uncle. But again,
it's true though. They pop in pills.
True. Like,
so
the semantics of sitting here trying to break down the color, it drives me.
So can I say something? Like, I hate when people bring other people. We're talking about us, and here it is, black and white. We can go tit for tat how one race is in the same gender doing better than the other race. I will personally say that I think some of the independence comes from white women. I don't think we were naturally independent women. I think that if you're saying we should learn from them, I think we have. That's why we're in the situation that we're in. It's just they still get married because their men still marry them with their independence. I think our men just think a little different than what white men think. Our men have a different standard for us than what white men have for white women. Because when have we ever known white women to be known for cooking?
Or dancing.
Like, when have we ever been known white women to be known for any of these domestic things?
Don't do that. That's how I know how to cook from a white woman.
They used to have people do that for them. So if you want to look at somebody, I wouldn't use white women. Now, I do think there are other races of women who are better and maybe the quote unquote traditional wives, but I don't think it's white women. I think you should have used another race, because I do think that we can definitely be better. I can say that. But I don't think that bringing a white woman's name in this situation is going to be the people you really want us to mimic. I don't think that that's what you're...
Because we might end up on Snapped too, like the white women too. You don't want to...
But I don't think it's about that. I think that what he's saying is they want us to be more like wives. And I just think that there are other races of women who are great wives. I can sit back and look at other races of women that are not American. And I'm like, okay, I see what they're probably wanting us to look like. I don't think it's American women, period.
I don't know what a good wife looks like. I guess I'm still learning that, because I see different examples from different ethnicities, and they all come to me complaining, girl. So I don't be knowing half the time.
Well, a good wife is a woman who puts her ego aside and prioritizes her community, her family, her husband. She's someone who looks at herself as part of the collective, and she's always, well, encouraging the people she's responsible for to be their best. I think she's not someone who she looks to see how she can elevate every space she is in, and fill in the gaps, essentially. That's what I think a good wife is.
Do you have to be a wife to do those things and show up like that in the world?
No, you don't. But it is a skill set, and it's definitely
what's a skill set?
What I just shared.
Showing up in the world and being an amazing woman. So that seems like a embodiment of an amazing woman, what you described. But do you have to be a wife to be those things?
I think being a wife specifically is about rejection of your own ego into coming into union with someone else. It is only in the safety of marriage where that makes sense, in my opinion. Abandoning yourself for work at your job, making your job your husband. You can be amazing at your career, right? But I would argue it is only in the safety of a marriage where the abandonment of your own ego is a good thing.
But I feel like you can abandon your ego and show up in the world and not be amazing at your job, but just show up in the world. And you can be an amazing philanthropist.
Sure.
And not be married and still be an amazing quality woman. I don't think the wife part validates a woman being amazing or being able to embody amazing qualities. I don't agree with that.
Well, to be fair, you did ask her what makes a great wife. She was just describing what a great wife would be.
She described a great woman.
I mean, that could also be a great woman, but I would argue that she was just simply answering the question, what makes a great wife? I think that's fair.
From her perspective.
Right.
Yeah. And that's why I asked her, could you be those same things without being a wife? And she said yes, which was also true. So that's what's up.
Yeah, but I think, I'm sorry, Sudie, what's your name? Love.
I'm the LA Love Doctor, but my name is Rayana, and most people call me Ray.
All right. What would you like me to call you? I don't want to be disrespectful.
You can call me Ray.
Ray? Okay. All right, Ray. A wife is a woman that submits to a man with the exact same qualities that she mentioned. Okay. So you can be all those same qualities, but you don't become a wife unless you submit to your husband.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the most essential part. And I also think there's also an expectation, I think, to love him the way God loves him, unconditionally.
All right, let's get Ali in there.
I'm trying to figure out which perspective. We didn't go went left, right. Put it this way. We were just discussing if immigrants can teach us. We were all immigrants into this country. Some of us didn't ask to come here, but obviously a lot of the immigrants that come here still focus on family more so they do focus on the money. And when they're making the money, they invest in their family and they expand. But ironically, when we talk about the importance of finances and legacy, a lot of times we use the money to separate from each other. And respectfully to the sisters, when men make money, they build families. When women make money, they get rid of their men. So a lot of sisters, the most high earning income women are having less children, and the women who have less money have the most children, where men who are mostly educated and have the finances are having children, and less educated and less men who are less financially adequate are having the less children. But every time a woman advances, and then women say they fought for equality and feminism was supposed to make you equal to us and be able to help you bring us to a different level of in a society together, y'all separate from us when you make money. So if something immigrants can teach us is that when the woman comes here, she builds with her man instead of making money and separating herself from herself and say she makes her own money. She gets her own car. She gets her own house. She builds with her man. So immigrants can teach us a lot of things because that's exactly what black men used to do and black women used to do as well too. We had the highest marriage rates from 1860 to 1960 until the white women convinced the black woman to pick herself, even though she still, who said it? I think Aunt Shan said the white woman still marries her man. Like she chose to go, they got her to go to work, but black women literally say, I don't need you anymore. So the things they can teach us is how much how greatly it can impact our future kids by coming together. And it starts with the woman, because once you choose yourself, you create disorder, and you don't have the man there for you or your children.
It's easier to teach Black women to pursue their own individuality whenever they don't even want order. When they are raised to despise any order or structure, it's easier to give them that path. You know what I'm saying? So
I have a question, and I agree with a lot of what you said, Ali, but there's a part in there that we're missing out. I think that most women are in relationships with men. I think the problem is the men are not asking these women to marry them. I don't know many women who've not helped a struggling man, who's been in a relationship with a man who's helped them. Because most of the women I know, if you're with someone, you're with them wholeheartedly and you're going to go to bat for them. But he's just not getting on his knee and asking her to marry him. So at what point, we talk like marriage is in the female's hands, and that's not the truth.
No, she don't want to get married. Why would you ask a woman who doesn't want to get married to be married? If when you pick yourself and you end up being a 304, you end up being sexually liberated, you end up saying you're a single mother, you end up talking about you traumatized and broken and unhappy, you start neglecting yourself.
My body, my choice.
You start being destructively prideful, you start becoming a Christian, and then you somehow forget about the man, and then you have this statue that they build and that makes women promote being the worst of yourself. Why? What would promote men to get married with women today if they don't stay loyal to monogamy? Because tell me, what age are women asking to be wives? You're not asking to be a wife at 18. You're not asking to be a wife at 25. You're not asking to be a wife at 30, even though most women do get married at 25, 29. But even if men do marry you, women still leave. So if we're not rewarded for being loyal to you and committing to you and being righteous brothers, and you still leave, why should a man marry you if you don't even stay loyal to monogamy? Y'all have mastered being by yourself and not wanting to be married. So why should a man keep compromising himself and his heart and keep wanting to be with women who are not loyal to monogamy?
And white women are twice as likely to divorce a Black man than Black women. So y'all really got it bad right now.
I want to go ahead and get, hold on, y'all. I want to go ahead and get Missy in there. She been Mrs. E in there. She been kind of waiting.
Let what's called answer his question. That was a really
good the answer when he answered, sweetie.
I'm trying to spread it around. You know what I mean? So
of course, but she said we're not trying to get married.
So they don't so Ali, when we look at the internet, everything that you're saying is absolutely true, right? But I know that you have had a woman who's been down for you. You're a nice looking man. You've got a lot going for yourself, right? So most men have had that person in their lives, especially if you're just that guy, right? So my thing is, but I do get your point. What I got out of what you were saying was she has to present herself in a certain kind of way, maybe less access. If she does that, then maybe he will ask her, take it to the next level. Is that what you're saying?
No, I don't agree with. Most women will give you her box. She won't give you cooperation. I can get a woman to give me her box before I can get her to cook some cornbread. Like that, you can get a woman in the bedroom all day long before she does anything that's feminine or ladylike for you. So I mean, how many women will actually cook for a man and say, "Hey, look, this is what I can do for you if you're with me," versus saying, "Hey, here's my throat and here's my body in the bedroom." Most men can get most men can get sisters.
I'm not cooking. I don't got no throat. I don't got nothing. That's probably
no, right. And it's possible that those are the women. So, and I think that we have to be mindful too that every area has different types of women, right? Maybe that's the women that you're exposed to. That or maybe in your area, because the women I know, they cook for. I'm from Alabama. You cook for. It's just known. You cook for the family. You have several different meats. It's just normal.
Shayna, I know you want to go to your anecdotal, but 71% of our women are unmarried. So you must have a special group of women in your group.
No, it's not, because those women too are unmarried and they cook.
So why are they unmarried then?
Hold on, y'all. Before y'all go down this rabbit hole. Hold on, Shan. Before y'all go down this rabbit hole, can I get Mrs. E in there? And then we'll circle back around to that.
Lapeef, I can't see him.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Good night, everyone. How you guys doing? I hope all is well. I just wanted to say that I absolutely agree with what Ali is saying, because I do understand that, yes, us women, we go through some things. But at the same time, we also have to take responsibility of what we put ourselves through. And to the point of the 70% of woman being unmarried, it's more than likely of the simple fact that they go into the relationship thinking that, oh, you know, if I gave up this, if I gave up that, if I show my body, if I do this thing, like showing wifely things to him way too soon before he even get the ring, then hopefully I could just like, you know, I'll be able to get the ring. But majority of the time they're not talking about the marriage. They're just talking about getting with the man, and that's about it, you know. But yeah, that's what I have to say. I'm sorry, I have a full house.
So can I just make a point?
Yeah, we can circle back around. I just wanted to make sure she got in there because she haven't been able to speak. What y'all?
So when we talk, because when I hear people in the panel, right, and they always talk about, oh, my mom, she used to cook, she used to do all these things. You guys don't do what our parents do, but your mama was single too. Most of y'all didn't have y'all daddies. So the point is, my point in saying that it's just cooking and cleaning is just not enough. It takes more than just cooking and cleaning to keep a man. It's how you present yourself. I mean, there's so many more things to it than just that. So I just want us to make sure we're not just saying, oh, because she's not cooking, she's not cleaning. There are a lot of people who cook and clean who don't have men, who are not getting married.
I think he just used the example as far as the box, like how simple it is. It wasn't more or less like this is what it takes, but he definitely used it as an example of, you know, it's easy to just get the box over anything she can do for me. Like,
and I can agree with that. I think that
Wham whammy is like, it's just.
If I can explain, essentially what he's saying is, and I know we kind of harped on the whole cooking thing, but essentially what he's saying is, and we've actually heard women say this, they will give a man her ass quicker than she would give him her submission.
So
quicker than she would give him all the things that a man would need in a relationship. All the things he would require in a relationship, she would give him ass all day. But when it comes to those things, submission, being able to be cooperative with him, working with him, some women, he may need her to work with him. You know what I mean? She might have to work alongside him. And she said, I ain't going 50-50 with him.
Right.
It's like they are more willing to have sex with the guy than they would to actually cooperate with any man unless they deemed him worthy.
Yeah, and the crazy part about the sex thing is, that's not even sustainable once you transition into marriage.
I don't know why.
Given the fact
that,
hold on. Let me land the point. The sex thing is not even lucrative. It's not even sustainable once you transition into a marriage, because then now you got to deal with them withholding the sex. So if that is the only value they led with, that they were just so eager to give up, you don't even have assurance that you're going to continue to get it at the rate you were getting it. For her to land you, for her to persuade you to get to the altar before the bait and switch. So think about that.
So I have another question. So I get the cooperative. I'm just asking for clarity, right? And I agree with you, Ali. I think that women have sex with men too much and too often, right? But the cooperative, I get being cooperative. But should you be submitting to a man that's not your husband? Do you submit to every man that you come across, basically?
No one tells you to submit to every man that's not your husband. But if you're deciding for him to be husband, he should see wife. You should give him wife trait. You should show him your wifely traits, just like he should show you his husband traits. You should be wife and husband to each other prior to a marriage. So if you're demonstrating that your ability to be a wife to him, he should demonstrate his ability to be a husband to you. Because a lot of women be talking about, you ain't about to get no wifey traits from me, but they want husband traits from a man. So if you don't demonstrate no wifely traits to him, why would he get down on the knee and put a ring on your finger? Women don't want marriage enough. It's the control. Women are having sex with men for control. That's why you value your degree. That's why you value your career. That's why you value being strong and independent, being the boss babe, being the goddess, being the queen. You don't want to cooperate with the king. And the funny thing is, when you do submit, you get more control than the man that you ever have. The more you do it for him, the more you empowered and the more power you have over him. So women fight to get power over a man. And the more you try to get power of him, the more you lose that man. And you lose your children as well, too, at the end of the day, because when they get older, they're going to turn right back around. Because I'm happy you said that, Shayna. My mother and father were still married. My mama showed me and my daddy showed me how a man and woman is supposed to love each other. And my mother cooperated with my father. If your mama left your father, she teaches the first divide in the household, and why a lot of people pick themselves. That's why you invested in self-love. You're investing in your self-healing, which means you're making a lot of bad decisions based on what your mama did. Y'all get to every time we get on these panels, it's going to end up being, hey, she's still healing from trauma. She still had PTSD. She's still healing. So if your mother was so great, no disrespect to none of your mamas either. You needed your father for coverage. You needed your father for guidance. You needed your father for support. You needed your father to see how a woman's supposed to be loved. And so your mama didn't have to go through all the things she went through. But she showed you to depend on yourself. And the more you depend on yourself, the more broken you become. So you need a man. But until women want the man more so than you want your degrees and your own independence, our families are going to keep being broken because you show the kids to connect to the father and you connect to the father and you keep the family together. That was your job.
Are you married, Mr. Ekan Ali?
Almost.
So no?
Nope.
And I want to address one of these comments. Somebody said if a black woman die, her hair is blonde, she have identity issues.
Hold on.
This
Look,
is a
look,
If
wig.
it ain't a super chat, don't even
Right.
If it ain't a super
Ali,
chat,
can I
don't
ask
even
you a question?
No personal.
Of course, you can ask me any question.
Hold on real quick, y'all. Hold on
It's
real
a
quick.
wig.
Hold on real quick, y'all. Ray, you gotta ignore the chat.
I'm new to this, y'all. No,
It's cute.
Ignore
That's all that matters.
it's
the
a
chat.
wig. I mean, what? I got natural hair like everybody else,
We
baby. I know who I am.
we up here with you. We up here with you.
I know who I am.
So
This a
ignore the
wig.
chat. They doing their thing. Ignore the chat. Stay up here with us. Now,
All
who
right,
wants to
okay.
ask Ali a question?
I did.
Yeah, he said he on the verge
Go
of
ahead,
being
DJ.
married. Oh,
Go ahead, La. Go ahead, Ray.
I was just gonna say because he seemed to know a lot about marriage and because of his parents. I was just curious to was he actually married?
He told you. Yeah, he answered.
Yeah, he's engaged.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, almost. But you, what's kind of, I'm not gonna say you being disingenuous about that question is men will come up here and say how uncooperative women are and how hard it is to have relationships with women, and they'll turn right back around and ask if the man is married when men are telling you why they're not getting married with you.
Y'all are the leaders, like she said. Y'all gatekeep marriage, so at the end of the day, it's gonna be up to you to make it happen.
No. If I'm a leader and you don't follow, we ain't going nowhere. Y'all the worst followers right now. We're great leaders, but you don't want to follow the leader. You want to be in control of how you control.
And like
But
I was saying earlier, everybody
add
be
to
divorcing too. Everybody's been divorcing, not only black women, white women, or twice as likely to divorce y'all as a black woman. So it must be something with y'all leadership that's not
So
hitting.
you
If
think
everybody's leaving,
the reason why these men are
if
elected not
everybody
to marry
leaving,
you?
some ain't hitting.
So you
Some
thinking the
ain't
Oh
reason
no,
why?
we hitting now.
No, I'm
but
saying the white women are twice as likely to leave y'all as the black women, but inevitably everybody be leaving y'all. So some must not be hitting.
What makes it that you give love? You'll talk about caring, you'll talk about white society when it's convenient, but then you'll support it and effort with us when you know it's probably because of cultural issues where she don't relate to us and she might leave for the same reason you leave.
When I'm trying to show you,
no,
Mr.
hold on.
Ali,
Let me land
reason.
land real quick. Y'all copied her with feminism, and she crazier than y'all. Y'all not as crazy as white women. So if she's leaving us, she taught y'all how to be strong and independent and be for yourself as well too. But she'll lie to you and go marry and try to get resources. So if you're following the white woman and you're gonna give us credit for leaving us as well too, she's just showing you that she's doing the same thing y'all do. If
She's following us. That's what I was gonna say. She's actually following us. And another thing is, y'all black men get divorced more than all other men. Period. So I'm saying you have to put the mirror up to yourself and the microscope up to yourself and see what is it with black men in particular that all races of women y'all are more likely to be divorced than any other race of man.
What's your name? What's your name?
That is statistically.
Hold on real quick.
It's
What's your name?
It's not correct.
The sister with the white.
No, it's statistically
No, what's
correct.
your name? What's your name?
Oh,
Hold
okay.
on. What's your name? Lala?
My name,
Lola?
It's Ray. It's Ray.
my name is Rayana. Most people call me Ray.
Hey, Ray, you ain't got no options.
As far as what?
A man that'll do anything for you.
Do I have a man? Do I have
No,
options?
I asked you, do you have options?
Of course.
Right. You want to control the man. You don't. You want to try to change a man instead of being with a man that do anything for you. You still won't settle. You want to be with who you want to be with instead of
You
being.
telling me what I? You telling me about myself?
You say you have options. Why you don't settle?
Hi, what you mean settle? You want me to settle?
No, I don't know. That's not what I don't mean. Settle for just anybody. If you have all these options, a man will settle with a 5. A man will settle with a 6. He'll make that 6 and 5 his 10. Y'all want to still be with the 10s. You still try to be with a man you try to change and make him into what you want him to do.
Who,
Most
me?
of y'all.
Who you talking to?
I know you. I know you do it. I know you do
I
it.
don't try to change nobody.
You don't try to change a man?
Absolutely not. I let people be themselves.
How many relationships? Hold on real quick, Ann. Hold on, Ann. Why are you not currently in a relationship if you haven't tried? If you accepted a man for who he is, how you not still in a relationship?
That's not on my priority list right now.
Checkmate. You don't want to be with a man enough. That's not your. He's not your priority. So why would he want to be with you?
He probably don't, and I'm okay with that.
You made my point, sister. You made my point.
I know being in a relationship is not my priority. I never said it was. When y'all
So how you blame it? So how you blame? So now you made my point.
You can find a woman that wants you though. It might not be me, but somebody should want you.
Look, Ray, you made my point just now. They're not your priority. You prioritizing yourself.
It's not my priority, but there are women out here that would love to be married and be in a relationship.
No, I'm talking about you though. I'm not talking about those. No, hold on. If you're talking about, if I'm gonna be an advocate about bad men, and I'm being the bad man, it would make sense. But if I'm a good man, I'm being righteous, and that's what I'm advocating for, and men aren't getting responses from women, I could speak out for them. You're speaking about what women are talking about men, but you got all these options where you can settle, but you said that's not your priority. So
I'm
how
not
can you
settle?
So how can you speak against men, but you won't even settle with one?
You are actually illuminating the point of why I'm not in a relationship, because at this point, especially, I don't want to say this, but in the state of men right now, it would be like somebody would be settling. A lot of times, it's not, like I said, it's a reason a lot of women are divorcing y'all. It's not hitting the way y'all think.
Hey, hold on. Hey, brothers.
It's not hitting like that.
Straight like that. Darwin, Sweeney, if you had a woman that does everything you wanted to do, would you leave her?
No.
Ain't
No.
you married? Are you married, Sweeney?
Yes.
Yes.
You said his wife. He said his
Bruiser's
wife.
married too. No, but listen what you're saying. You got all these men that do what you ask, and you go, that's not my priority.
But Ali, ask her a question. Just ask her a question. Ask her this, because I like to get straight to it, right? So just ask Ray, what is her perfect man? Just ask her what that is.
Not the perfect man.
Give us some time.
No, Ray. No. Hold on. Ray, just tell us, what is your perfect? What man would you marry, or would you have time for?
Yeah, that's a loaded fucking question. That's a loaded question, Mr. Straight like that. Hold on. I'm gonna move from it, and I'm gonna let y'all have it. Do you have an answer for that question? No.
All right, thank you.
Wow. Ask, hey, what's your perfect idea of a perfect woman? Straight like that.
A woman that submits to me.
Jesus, it's crazy. Hey, great job, brother.
One of the things I wish we would consider in this conversation, though, is that there is a deep cultural issue, and we don't look at the support system. We don't look within our support system. A lot of us you get married, and there's so much temptation around us that it almost feels like, right, what I have observed is there's very little support for married people. A lot of women in relationships complain about being not emotionally connected to their husbands. I don't know if it's worth, should we really encourage people who are individualistic, short-term thinking, selfish most of the time, to enter into such a union without, without actually examining, are we getting married just to get married, or are we getting married for an actual purpose? Does that make sense?
What did you just see happen? Do brothers come on here and express how much they love women, support women, want to build with women, and the women will choose themselves? You just deviate and you just tuck away from what just happened just then. Hold on real quick. You said it's not a coach, it's not a we thing. Black men still love their women. Black men still want to build with their women. Black men still cherish their women. They are suckers by nature. Hold on. Our women weaponize it against us because they go, hey, if I can't get you to do it, I'm going to get another one to do it. I'm just going to press the replay button when I get another man, and I can restart my femininity with another one because he don't know who I am. And I can just say it was this guy. This dude did me this way. He was a liar. He was a cheater. Y'all keep overlooking the actual leaders and righteous brothers for the cheaters and the liars and the abusers. Like, you like those guys. You like being with those guys because you don't have to be a woman for those guys. And it's demonstrated on here every single time. So it's easy to deal with someone that your mama dealt with to just go, you know what? He just like my daddy, just like what my mama said. I don't have to be a better woman. I could just do what my mama said and keep blaming men instead of working on myself and be a better woman and be a marriageable woman instead of keep blaming men and the men who hurt you instead of being with the men who help you.
I'm telling you, I don't disagree. Modern women, it is not easy being a wife. It is a deep, like the mentality shift that you have to be.
You been a wife before?
No.
How do you know it's not easy then?
I've been engaged.
Have you been a wife though?
No.
How do you know it's not easy to be a wife?
Well, let her finish talking. I want to hear the rest of
See, look, y'all.
I want to hear.
No,
her thoughts.
but Shayna,
let Ali.
y'all demonstrate. If she asked me if I was married, right? Y'all wanted to see if I had credibility. Y'all would have been like, "Oh, why you talking?" Y'all don't hold her. If she's saying that, then it should take the other sisters and go, "Hey, ma'am, how you speaking on marriage and you're not even married?" Just like Lola.
Well, we didn't have an opportunity. Y'all I wanted to hear the rest of her thoughts, and then
all right.
The reason I know it's difficult.
Let me see.
Is because me and all the women on this panel have grown up with the message of your happiness matters. Become the best version of yourself. Go get an education. Just in case we are conditioned to really prioritize us. To be a wife,
like that.
Oh no!
I think to be a wife, I think it's a completely different mental shift.
Let me explain what I think I can explain exactly what she means. She's saying it's hard to be a wife because they were trained so long to not be a wife. So it's hard for them to transition into being a wife because they were trained to not be one.
And you don't need to. Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Okay, what are the
Let me just say this.
In order to have a successful marriage as a wife, a lot of women have a lot of fear and of submission. And I think there's this deep fear that they're going to be, quote unquote, slaves, and that man isn't going to be her partner or whatever. And we have to realize that mental shift to get out of the current like cultural narrative, and then to enter a marriage, and you have to 180% put your husband family first before all of that. Is not easy for a whole generation.
Is it hard for you to get a job?
A husband is not like a job.
I'm just asking a simple question. Is it hard for you to get a job and keep a job?
I think they're depending, moderately difficult.
It's hard for you.
It can be moderately challenging.
Is it hard for you to get a job and keep a job?
No.
So why is it?
Go ahead, sorry.
Go ahead, Shan. Since you want to go ahead. You go ahead.
But why are you asking me that?
What?
Why would you ask me that?
It's the same concept.
How?
Because you make it evident that women don't.
Because you're
hard. Bruiser. It's not hard to be a husband. It's not hard to be a father. It's not hard to see my son every single day and doing all the things that I do for him. Oh, my woman every single day.
Let me try to
hold on, Bruiser, real quick. No. Y'all complain. You want to take a break from being a wife. You want to take a break from being a mother. You want to take a break from work. You want to take a break from sex. You want to take a break from the gym. You want to take a break from cooking. This is the most laziest, non-grateful, and non-appreciative women ever in history. Like y'all, it's like you can't stand doing for a man. But like Ruza said, you'll go to work. You'll go get your degree. Hey, sergeant. You'll listen to your sergeant. You'll love your pastor. But you love your cat and dog too. You clean up behind them and your kids. But if you have to love and respect and appreciate a man, it's hell. You turn into a maid and a slave when you do that.
Ali, we're not disagreeing. The reason why women are doing these things is because the expectation of a husband to rely on is not there. That is why they prioritize work, the kid, the dog, the whatever. Everything
they y'all ain't have enough money.
That's not true.
They're preparing for a world where
that's not true.
Yes, it is true.
No, what's a sucker? What's a simp? What's a panderer? We'll ask y'all, do you want a man like that? Nope. I don't want a man that'll do anything I want him to do. Okay. How about the man that tells you what to do? Nope. I don't want that either. Whichever way y'all go, you weaponize it against yourself. You don't want the man that puts his foot down. They want the rich man. And you don't want the man that does anything you want him to do. We know this now, and we've done this too many times. Y'all don't like the simp and the sucker, and you don't like the righteous man and the man who puts his foot down. You don't like neither one of them.
I personally do. I do like the man.
I think all women do respect that, but again, it's the cultural.
No, you don't.
Like I said, I think it's a cultural.
Yes, I do.
How about we focus specifically on what she's saying to try to help her understand? You said there's certain things that you need to rely on that a man's supposed to show so you can be compelled to get in a relationship and stay in a relationship with him. Is that true?
That's true. Yes, I would say.
So what are those things?
Right now, because I have a cousin that live out here. She's married. She's older. She's 65. She's her husband's second wife. She don't have any children. And we was having a conversation.
That was not the question.
No, I'm just telling you. We just
Okay,
had a
go
conversation.
ahead.
And at this point, low key, I need to be able. I'm looking at home ownership. Like we was talking about the wealth conversation earlier. Why everybody shaking their head now? I thought that's
You want to know why I'm shaking my head right now?
What's wrong with home ownership? And we were just
No.
talking
I don't
Girl,
have a problem with
it's
that.
a lot of work.
Hold on, no, listen. You know why I shook
You
my
know,
head?
we just name all that stuff we got to do.
Hold on, wait. Listen. You want to know why I shook my head on that?
Because you gotta own the home to be able to do that stuff inside
It's
the home.
because you can do that shit. All becomes a whole lot easier when you partner with somebody and you get married to somebody.
Yeah.
All of that shit becomes a whole lot easier when you, a woman, get with a man. Y'all put y'all resources together, and now y'all have the ability to actually buy the home. But if you do shit separately, everything becomes infinitely harder for y'all. So when you say, man, home ownership is so important for what I need a man for, it's like, damn, if you would have got the man earlier, you would have a home today.
But
I'd rather.
Let me say something.
They're not.
What about my new man already own the home and he just?
But why? Why? That goes back. Okay, a wife.
What's wrong with that? That's what the others do. Y'all were just talking about how the others keep divorcing and get the new one and keep obtaining. But when I talk about it, people shake their head.
Well, what happened whenever
you said a man in your priority right now? You said a man in your priority.
I said home ownership. I'm very.
Okay, what happened? What happened when you met that man that had the home ownership? What happened?
We might be onto something.
If
no, I'm saying, have you met him?
Miss E, why you laughing? What's up? Shit, he's single.
She's married, right?
He might be widow and a homeowner. What's up?
Mrs. E is married.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I thought you talking about Ray.
He might be widow and a homeowner. What's wrong with that?
Husband.
But I did ask a legit question that I think was critical to the claim. There's the things you needed to rely on in a man are not there, and I was asking for clarity on what those things were. I mean, it wasn't necessarily with your statement, Doc. It was actually Ashanti Ward here who made the claim. I'm just trying to better understand you without just beating up on you with what you should do and what you shouldn't do. I'm just trying to really understand. Like, what do you need to rely on that's not there?
Brother, why are you talking to a lady that can't describe her husband? Like, this is a waste. She said she doesn't even know. Oh, sorry, you were talking to you, Ashanti?
Oh, I think he just redirected it to me.
Oh, okay, go ahead. My bad. I thought he was talking about Ray. Yeah, like she don't. I thought he was talking to Ray. Sorry.
He know I don't care. He ain't talking to me.
Y'all are hilarious.
So Ray can't identify her husband, so she can't tell us, or even she is not qualified.
He don't have a type. He said, "I don't know what that perfect guy is."
I said home owner.
Nick, a home owner. That's oh my god. A homeowner is anybody.
No, it ain't. Where you live? Where
Yes,
you
it
live?
is.
Where you live?
Listen, that's
no. What city do you live in? What
Why?
city do you live in, sir? What city do you live in, sir?
I'm not gonna give out my city, crazy lady. I ain't gonna do that.
So it's a secret, or do you live in America? You ain't
No,
even. You ain't
listen. The conversation is not where I live. We asked you, what is your perfect guy?
Can have a home. That's not true.
No. But we asked you, what's your perfect guy? You say you don't know. So therefore, nobody should be talking to you about no husband. You don't know what that guy is. It could be anybody.
Yeah, but
I do know what it is. He don't gotta be perfect. I said home.
Why does he gotta be
listening?
perfect?
Exactly. He don't gotta be perfect. I said
he just has to be a homeowner.
See what I'm saying? She told y'all she don't know, and y'all still letting her get away with it. She don't know, and then she said homeowner. So if you're a homeowner, does being a homeowner make you a great wife? Matter of fact, does being educated make me a great husband?
Hell no, if you ain't got no money.
So why
To
do
be
women
honest with
keep
you-
using that? We have the highest education rate. We'll make great wives. That don't make you a wife.
But to be honest with you,
I
I would
know,
rather.
I never said it did. I'm not the. I know.
To be
I'm
honest
not.
with you,
I'm not
to be honest with you, I would
wife
rather
example.
have.
You know?
I would rather deal with a woman who don't already have the perfect man
Right.
in mind. I mean, it just makes for, she may be impressionable. I might be able to plant what that is in her mind. The chances of me succeeding with her be greater because she doesn't have a fixated archetype. Like most of these women coming in the deal, like, you got to be this, you got to be that, you got to be. And she's self-disqualifying herself from having all this criteria. So I would argue that a woman who have a minimum or even no criteria may be more impressionable. You might be able to coach her and instill in her what she should be looking for, because most of these women don't even have the discernment to be able to choose anyways.
All right, can we go ahead and get a mirror in there?
Oh, sorry.
Can we go ahead and get a mirror in there? She's been waiting quietly, and I've been seeing her face. She's been throwing, praying for y'all and everything. So I gotta hear what she got to say.
My knees are getting dark from praying too much over here.
Show us
no.
What up, Bruiser?
Who is Bruiser? Who is Bruiser?
Already know.
Nobody.
I don't see nobody named Bruiser on here.
I wanted to answer the question about the immigrants teaching people. You guys can learn a lot from immigrants. Yes, we all can, because obviously immigrants do things the old school way. They do things the way people used to do them, which is by being together, working together. If you see most immigrant families, they come here and they stay in the same house all together. You see 20 people staying in one house, and slowly but surely they start moving out one by one, and they help each other and so on and so forth. That's a good way to learn. It's a good way to learn how to save money, invest money, and so on and so forth. Somebody has said that being a wife is not like a job. I completely disagree. Being a wife, I mean, I'm married. I think Mrs. E is married. Sweeney is married, and Darwin is married. And Darwin is Bruiser.
Oh, okay.
Right.
I was confused.
And so these are the married people on here. And as for wives, the biggest job that you'll ever get is being a wife. When a man proposes to you or takes you on as his wife, he's giving you a job. It is what it is. That's your job now. And me as a wife, my work doesn't end, and it's every day. It's constant. It's a job, and just like any other job, you need to be qualified for certain job positions, and you can't just be anything and go out with a resume and expect to be hired on as an architect. You have to be trained. Same thing with marriage. You cannot just be any type of woman, and a good woman is different from a good wife. They are not the same. Just because you're a good woman doesn't make you a good wife. And there needs to be training done for a woman to be a wife, because being a wife is a job. So I don't agree with that a few people were saying. There were so many topics that I really don't even remember all the rest of them.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get JR in there real quick. He just popped up.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and run some more of this clip, but did everybody answer that question?
I don't think anybody answered that question down at the screen, bottom of.
Is America becoming too relaxed while other countries stay disciplined? Is America becoming too relaxed while other countries stay disciplined?
That's why
Sort-
America
I'll
is
say
starting to
sort of.
fail.
Yeah, I say sort of. I'll say sort of. Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, Mrs. E. Like you're trying to say something. Maybe she just animated. Okay. What about you, Shannon?
I would like to ask, like, who exactly are we comparing ourselves to, if that's the case?
I would disagree that we're not becoming too relaxed. And the reason why I say that, because our military is very strong. And if we fail at anything, economics, we need oil or any whatever consumable thing, we just go and take that shit. So long as our military is strong, we good to go.
One of the most powerful
So
militaries
I
on the
think
planet.
that everybody,
No,
every country around us should pray that we don't fall behind. Because once we do, we coming to get it. We coming to ante up and run them pockets.
hey Darwin, are you military by any chance?
Does it sound like it?
Yes.
And I am.
All right, so that's how I know why. Okay, so in the military, just to pick your brain, you guys have to go through training, correct?
Oh yeah.
All right. So do you think your training also influenced your thought process on your reality?
Absolutely.
All right. So if you don't think America is a joke economically as well, I mean, we elected a man that went bankrupt more than 4 times. And if you look at the debt that America owes every other country, it got to the point where the American dollar is nothing because China pulled out. If you know this guy down in Nigeria off the coast of the Diamond District, Faso, I can't remember his name, but he's a general, and he's refusing to use American dollars, and the American dollar is worth nothing. I mean, I'm from Jamaica, and just up until a year ago, I can bring $1,000 to Jamaica and get 20,000 in Jamaican money, and now it's half of that. So if your standpoint is that, to JR's question, that we're not lazy or we have this entitlement, I don't understand if you've traveled outside of America to understand. I mean, you're military, so I don't know if you actually served.
I don't know. I'm not sure if that was his question. Maybe he should rephrase it. I didn't hear lazy and entitled in the question.
All right, JR, what was the question again?
Welcome back, Ashanti.
The question was, is America becoming too relaxed while other countries stay disciplined?
All right, so America is too relaxed because our dollar is worth nothing. Our military is not what you think it is, because if we actually went to war with China right now, China would actually do more damage because they got more people. The men that we have in America are not willing to fight because they're more sissy than anything else. I mean, you might fight, but we got a bunch of transgenders and stuff like that. We got a bunch of men that don't want to do nothing but shop all day. So
technology don't have a gender.
It doesn't. China has way more technology. Everything's made in China, brother. All the bombs and guns we got, they got all the codes.
It doesn't matter. You can't code out a M4. Anything that we have, it doesn't need a gender attached to it to be effective. We literally destroy countries off of drone, AI and drone technology these days. So
you can't. So you're talking about war cannot be done by gender, but you're saying men are leaders?
And it's not necessary to attach gender to make they have more people or to just be more bodies.
More men.
More
Yes,
men just
more
mean
men.
more bodies.
Yeah, but more men means I'm more stronger because men are leaders.
No, it don't. No, it don't. It's all about technology, bro. You're talking about World War I, World War II.
It's about technology, geography.
You're talking about men loading up at Omaha Beach, jumping out of Higgins boats in the hundreds and thousands. That game is over with. You jump out at hundreds of thousands, we'll put one bomb on you and blow everybody up, all of them. One shot, one kill.
Okay, but these men that are so this technology, who built it?
Who built it?
Yeah,
it's a whole bunch of United Nations. It's a variety of
I'm
countries
saying,
that has hands and skills.
I'm asking, but are the women built it? Did the women build those machines?
I don't know it, but that's not. It doesn't make any. It's not necessary to know that.
Yes, it does, because I'm saying even if men are not going to combat anymore, and the combat, like physical combat, is gone, and it's just a more of a technological warfare. I'm saying most of the men are the ones coming up with this technology.
Well, let me ask you this question. Who has more power? A has most of the money and a better economic foundation in the country. 2 has more people, more bodies to throw at you. Number 3 has more the most powerful nuclear powered nation in the world? Who's the most powerful? Who has the most leverage?
I'll say Iran and China.
Whoever holds the nuclear power.
I said
That's
Iran and China.
Neither one of those have more nuclear
You
power.
need to do your research.
Neither one of those.
I did do my research. Iran and China.
It's
Neither
countries
one of
that
those
can't
have
even
more
have nuclear
You-
power unless we allow them to.
Yeah, but you know that more countries are recruiting our scientists, right? You realize there's a growing trend of our society getting dumber, right, and lazy and less qualified. And I don't know, I could be speaking too fast, but it seems like there's kind of either it's always been this way or there's an agenda where this country may already be bought and sold and they're making investment in different places. But the quality of human beings is is regressing in this country, Bruiser. And if you take the time, even Google, I could Google too, just researching it. They're recruiting our scientists from here and paying the ones here less. We're getting dumber here.
Right. But because it's cheaper to go get those scientists, and it's not lucrative to focus on the mentality of the mind and just focus on the operation of the mechanics of the weapon
But that's the question. Is America getting too
this
complacent?
conversation might be too far-fetched for a lot of people, man.
Well, Ali, if you think of it that way, the question is America. If America is importing their scientists or whatever, it doesn't matter. This country itself is not.
No, they're losing. They were important. They're losing their scientists now. We're getting dumber. We're losing our skilled people. Like, you take the time to research when y'all got time. We're losing people.
No, what I'm saying is that you said the country itself.
Yes.
If the country itself is still importing the talent, it doesn't matter. The country itself is still powerful. The country itself is still the most powerful government on the planet. Now, whether you replace those people and then, like, say for instance, like, because I've always said this, the only way you can take out America is if you do it from the inside out. You can't.
That's happening.
There's no way possible you can do it from the outside in. There's no outside force.
Sweeney, you just proved Ali's point. If I'm another country, what I would do is I would make you think you're recruiting one of my scientists to come and infiltrate you, which is already happened. We proved that with Bin Laden.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Infiltration and being able to take over a country from the inside out, like I said, it is two totally different things. Nobody's just going to be able to walk into the country and be able to just infiltrate it. What I mean by changing the country from the inside out is when you change the government, when you change everybody as a government official, when it becomes more open to everyone else, to where that's the only way somebody can probably come in and take over America. But as far as like an outside force to come in and be like, bum rush America, that would never happen. You couple
not on a high level either.
You couple
So Elon Musk doing the Nazi salute for Germany wouldn't make you kind of like,
whose team is he on? I don't know what he's doing, but whose team is he on?
But I'm saying, but Trump got him walking around and they holding hands and having breakfast.
Whose team is he on though?
No, hey y'all.
So hold on. Let me just say this one thing to Sweeney's point that he was trying to convey to you. Think of it like the NBA. The best players arguably are international players, but the best team is in the NBA. You know why? Because we're able to take the best talent from all the countries outside of the U.S. and put them right here in the NBA and be the most dominant league in basketball in the entire world.
That sounds stupid. You're gonna get people from other countries to come and take over your own league. That sounds stupid.
You think that other people
sounds like a trap?
How can people take over a league that's ran by billionaires that don't even play in the sport?
No. But I'm addressing your point. I'm not talking about the billionaires. You're saying if the NBA got to go across overseas to get international players to come into their own league and make the league profitable and competitive. All I'm saying is if the international players have a plan to take over the NBA, that would be the easiest way to do it, is for you to come and get me, pay me, and bring me over here.
And what can you give me an example of what that plan might look like? Just
sure.
Hypothetically.
I'll give an example. Hitler going to Germany. He wasn't from Germany.
No, I'm talking about of an NBA, the metaphor or whatever. You said NBA player internationally coming over to the NBA and taking over a club.
Well, I don't agree with you that the international players are better than our homegrown players. I'm just only talking to what you said.
We just had a guy
I didn't agree with that.
international win the MVP. What, I don't know, was it 2 times back to back?
Yeah, Jokic.
And the second person, and the second person, I think the second or third person was also international.
I don't know about that, but I know Jokic won it twice. Yeah.
What he's asking is how could they take over the club? As in,
I'm saying, okay,
replace the owners.
I'll tell you, if an international player comes over to America and you have a bunch of them in an influx and they start making a demand, just like the American basketball players and why they have the salaries that they have. If they keep coming over with their oil money, with their resources, and they acquire the money from us and they acquire the right and the licensings to buy an NBA team, and all of them in a few years start to buy up all these teams.
You can't just let me get you hip.
No, but I'm telling you,
you can't just you can have Elon Musk money. That doesn't mean that you'll be allowed to buy a club. There's a criteria you got to meet to be able to buy a club.
That's fine, brother, but you're asking me. Okay, that's fine. I understand that, but you're asking me how I think it would happen.
Dude, they won't just let anybody buy a ball club.
Okay, but you're asking me how I think it would happen. That's just what I'm saying.
Can I ask a question, Mr. Straight Like That? Aren't you an international yourself?
International? I'm from Jamaica. Do you know how far Jamaica is?
Were you born in Jamaica?
Yeah.
So technically you are considered an immigrant, right?
Yeah. So
I was just asking because you were saying we, like us, and I'm thinking like, is he?
What do you mean is he? Listen, lady. Listen, block. Listen.
I asked the question because I didn't know.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you. So I came off the same slave ships as my brothers and sisters here in America. It's just my slave ship went to Jamaica.
What ship did you come off from?
What ship was that? What was the name of that ship?
The ship? I don't know the name.
Damn.
Oh, because you told me I got off the ship. I'm like, shit, I ain't been on no ship.
This man.
So because I don't know, so because my ancestors came on slave ships and I don't know the name, that means what? What point did you just
it's dishonorable to the people who actually came off up to the quote that you came from it, but you don't even know the ship or even the history behind it.
Come on, most people wouldn't.
I do know the history behind it, but I don't know the name, brother. I know the history. I just told you the history.
Well, I think the point honestly,
you just came off one of them ships.
No, I said my ancestors.
You said I came off the same slave ship as
my ancestor. And matter of fact, Darren, you know, you're a very slick guy, so you're very disingenuous because you know exactly what I meant when I said it.
No, I know what you said.
No, you're being disingenuous because you know exactly what I meant when I said it.
Okay, so
all right.
What's your point?
No, the sister was asking me a question, so I was telling her that yes, I'm an immigrant. Jamaica's only 2 hours from America.
I've been to Jamaica. I know. I was just asking.
All right, so then that was a stupid question. You've been there, so stop playing.
That's a stupid question if I ask you where you from. How is that stupid?
Because you're trying to make the point that I'm an immigrant, so how am I able to speak on these issues?
How am I making a point by asking a question? I'm getting clarification.
Because you asked a question, but then you made a statement after your question. You said, "How do you know?"
Because you were referring to yourself as we, as if you were not.
I am we.
You are no, they not like us.
Hold on, wait a minute. All right, so if I let me jump in. If that is the case, then that destroys your entire argument straight like that. Because if you come over and now you're considered the we, it doesn't matter that we import people to take over.
Thank you. That's what I was getting to.
Because
that's
you were part of the group of people that were importing.
Thank you. That's the point I was getting to.
You didn't import me. You didn't import me. I came here off a visa. That's not important.
It is important.
No, it's not. I came here off. My family came here off their free will. America's going over there, like the other brother Ali said, and buying scientists. That's what he was saying.
Can you be deported?
Yes, I can be deported.
I want to jump in, please.
If you can
no, I was not imported. I was not.
If the opposite
I came here.
They trying to deport people.
It logically don't make any sense then.
It does make sense. I was not imported. Imported is somebody coming to get you and putting you in the country. I came here off the same laws America allowed me to come here. So that's not an import.
What flight did you fly?
You an immigrant.
What airline did you come in on?
What airline? Air America, I think it was Air America or something like that.
What was
Back
the
in the
name
day.
of your captain? He came and got you.
So he was Jamaican. He was Jamaican.
You just said import means somebody came and got you and brought you over there, and I just explained.
No. Based on you, what you said, brother. See, you slick, but you're not smart. You know, you're not smart. You're smart dumb. Actually, you're one of those dudes that think they're smart, but you're actually stupid because you know what import means.
Okay, you guys.
Like,
You know what it means?
Smart.
You know
You're
what
not
it means for a person
brother.
to
You're not
argue
smart.
with somebody who's stupid?
Brother, you're not smart. Brother, you're not smart. You're dumb. You're a dumb, smart person. You know a lot of words, but no facts.
Do you know what it means for the person who actually argues with somebody who's stupid? That means they're even worse.
No, it doesn't. It means I'm trying to help you. That means I'm a brother. It's called brotherly love.
Appreciate it.
That's the same thing. That's okay. Do you believe in the Bible?
I appreciate the brotherly love, man.
Do you believe in the Bible?
Do I believe in it?
Yes, you do. Yes. Do you believe in the Bible?
I believe in the Bible. I believe in the word.
Okay. So would the Messiah call telling his brethren to come from sin stupid, or was he just being brotherly love?
What he telling who?
I'm trying to save you from your own stuff because you're trying to argue with me about that I was imported like I'm a freaking package. I came here off a visa, the same laws that America gave me to come here.
Were you part of a manifest when you came over here? Did you have a number assigned to your name when you checked in through to the checkpoints?
Same number you got on your social security.
You had a passport, right?
Same number you got on your social security. What's your social security number?
I mean, bad as you don't accept it.
What's your social security number? You got a number 2, right?
Can you take a pen out? I'll give it to you. You got a pen? You have a pen? All right.
Go ahead, Amir.
America is the strongest country with the strongest army, navy, military in the world. America doesn't have to be the smartest at this point because they're on top. America has forts and bases in every single continent, in most countries across this great planet. America is not just a country, it's an empire. America, if you even think to attack America, we have bases in everywhere. I mean, every big country, Korea, Morocco, everywhere you want to go, we have a base. And do you think that all those soldiers around the world are just there to kumbaya? They are there for if somebody wants to act out. We can attack you from each and every way. We're not just coming from America. We're everywhere. We're in your country, most likely. That's why America is too powerful. And as for China having more people, it doesn't matter how many people they have because their people aren't all military. Not everybody is a soldier. So it doesn't matter if they have billions of people. That's still billions of women and children. That doesn't mean anything. They're not soldiers. America is the strongest. It's the best. They don't have to be the smartest at this point, even though I wish we would. I wish we would stop dumbing the average American down. I wish our public schools would get better. But at this point, because of America's status, she doesn't need to be the smartest at this point. She's just going to dominate and dare somebody to do something about it.
So, America, the same country that's so amazing, you're going to leave at 65, no?
I'm sorry?
Weren't you the one that said when you're 65, you're out of here, but yet this country is so amazing and so powerful? Why are you leaving at 65?
I love America.
But why are you leaving at 65?
Relax, calm down. I heard your question. I heard your question. I don't want to stay here because of taxes. I'm not going to pay property taxes when I'm 65 years old. I'm not doing that. So I'm going back to my country because of the property taxes and the fact that we are in survival mode here. But that doesn't change the fact that America's military is the biggest and best and still dominates the world.
But
I'm not
you're
sure
gonna
how
still
either of
you're
those
gonna-
topics intersect with one another, but
okay, but you're still leaving at 65. So America's not that great.
what
What
are
you
you
gotta?
talking?
What you
The
gotta? Why,
question is
if
about the
America's not so
military.
great, why did you come to America?
Seriously.
I was brainwashed. Like that's why I said if you heard my opening statement, I told you that when I was in Jamaica, they convinced us that leaving that country, which I'm pretty sure America speak to, because that's why she's here. And that's why she wants to leave at 65, because she understands that she can't stay here and be an older woman. Because 65, you're not even old. You're just in your elderly years. But yeah, she wants to get out of here. So I was
You're
brainwashed
completing
to come here.
things that
So
don't even have
now that
anything
we
to do
know
with
that you were
America.
brainwashed, why don't you go back then?
Because America's number one export is their culture. So therefore, if I go to Jamaica right now, they act like Americans.
They'll never be real Americans, no matter how much you act.
So
You'll
damn if
never
you do,
be
damn if
real.
you don't.
Let me
How
get to
long
these
have you
super
been in the
chats.
country straight like that? How long have you been over here in the U.S.?
So I go back and forth. So I got property over in Jamaica, but I got a property here. So, and I've been to Europe, and they act like Americans too. I've been to Romania, I've been to the UK, and everyone's becoming more Americanized, which is why the women are so entitled everywhere you go. But to answer your question, I've been here since I was 7.
So how many years is it? I'm saying how many
So,
years have you been in the country?
when did they brainwash you? When you were 3?
When I was 7.
You was already here though.
You recently just got brainwashed.
Correct. So when I came, correct. So when I came here and I realized there's no more rivers, I can't fish. Everybody's overweight. I can't pick a mango off a tree. And stuff. Yeah, I realized I was brainwashed.
Who overweight?
I said when I came here and I realized most people are overweight. What do you mean who's overweight? Overweight people are overweight. That's a stupid question. Overweight people are overweight.
So you said most people are overweight though.
Yes, because most Americans are overweight. If you're not overweight, then you
Hold on.
Most Jamaicans is broke. So why is
they
y'all
are,
here?
but they're also broke based on money, right?
The quality
That's
of
what
life
broke
is so
mean.
different.
Y'all have a reputation for being broke and lazy. If I can be quite honest.
Really? Oh, that's
don't do him like that. Don't do him like that.
Like
So-
women, I'm gonna just tell you from a women perspective, we still clear Jamaicans.
All right, so I don't want to see you no Jamaican restaurant getting no curry chicken, no fried chicken.
I'm a vegetarian. I don't eat that. The most I might eat is y'all plantains.
So
y'all rice and peas.
Don't eat that either. Don't eat that either, because we lazy. Don't eat that either.
Real quick.
I might eat the rice and peas. That's it. That's it.
Listen, let me jump in real quick. So I find it interesting, right? That he said that he done visited all these countries and all these people are Americanized. All of them acting just like us. Then what the hell do we have to lose to? The only countries that have to raise these strong ass, where you be seeing them on YouTube with the training and all that shit is countries that ain't got no choice. All these first world countries, all of them act just like Americans though.
Right.
They be out here trying to act like Americans.
Yep.
All right, let me get to these super chats. Got Dale Matthewman for 35 months. Says like shit. I did read that one already. Thank you, Dale. Sir Shy 87, $2. Salute to the panel, especially Shannon and Amira. Love y'all. T.O. $5. Family is supposed to be your support. Shy 87, $2. Guess Bruiser made Cali Rage quit. Hashtag Roll Tide. LD. Also, my phone line now. Y'all have a pointless conversation. The dating scene will never be the same. It is what it is. Sir Shy 87, $2. Says Ray reminds me of Muffy Crosswire. Google.
I'm about to do the
Sir Shy 87, $2 says so tired of this Jamaican tether babble. Fizz 499 says Trump filed for bankruptcy a couple times, but he owns over 200 business and it was a hotel and casino. Use your brain, man. Fizz again with the 499s. Straight like that. Just take a sip of your Stella Rose, man.
That's crazy.
What's wrong with the Stella
Fizz
Rose?
199
Man, call him out.
No, he got a table point over there.
$10 says Ray, Jamaicans are us.
They said Jamaicans are.
499. I'm a clock. Fizz again. He switched the Stella out for some Skull Vodka. Doug Will 499 says the only thing good to come out of Jamaica is Bob Marley, Hussein Bolt, and the bomb, the bobsled team.
They wrong for that.
Not Cool Running.
What's the lady name? Muffy what? What's her name? Muffy what? Jr.
Muffy Crosswire.
Oh man, start straight like that out, man. Y'all
Oh,
be
she a
going in on the guy.
cartoon. Oh, they said Muffy off Hey Arnold. That's what's up. I mean off Arthur.
Okay, well there you go. We're gonna run a little bit more of this
I
clip.
love Muffy on Arthur. That was one of my favorite characters growing up.
Okay, well, it fits you well. There you go, Miss Ray.
Oh my God, I'm so honored. Thank you.
You heard what Obama said?
Never.
Imagine if I came in here and said these things that he said.
Not even Obama.
No,
Clinton.
no, Obama
Bush.
just said it. Obama just said
I
it.
know,
though.
but I'm just saying, think about people.
Y'all ragged on me for wearing a beige suit, my nigga.
Yeah, but I think the difference
This nigga
is,
said walk up and grab him in the pussy. And women still voted for the nigga.
I posted it. But you got to think about it. We're living in reality, and I think that's what people need to understand. And right now, too many times in life, we've curated this fantasy of what we're supposed to be and what we believe ourselves to be, but you are forgetting who the fuck you are as a person. There are more animals that are inhumane by nature that are working, that are in positions of power, and it will always be that way. I'm not with the whole narrative of trying to turn my shoulder to what exists, especially when we know that technically speaking, it exists way more or equal to the ones that don't.
But I'm a fan of, you could think whatever the fuck you want, but you have to have a level of respect. And I think that you have to have a level of decency and decorum. He's allowing people to say, fuck that.
But why?
It's always existed, but we've always maintained a certain level of, you can go down south, right? In the South, they be racist as fuck.
That's how I like my race.
But the white people will say good morning to you.
Mm-hmm.
How y'all doing today?
They
They'll hold the door for you. You're not fucking with my daughters, my sons, my nothing. But we have a level of respect. You gonna stay over there? I'm gonna stay over here. We know where we stand.
Very true.
But we still respect one another on an outward surface, right? What Donald Trump has awakened in the people is slam the door in their face, right? Don't speak no more. All of that shit to me is whack. And now you have a younger generation growing up thinking that that's the way to be. That's not the way to be.
That's the way they were already. The younger generation.
No, you have to think about this. We're talking about the federal government.
Yes, saying
The
fuck
federal
the people.
government saying fuck the people. We literally pay a lot of taxes so that we can have certain things, so that we can have children who have access to IEP, so that we can have people who have student loans from the federal government, so that old people can have medical coverage, so that all of these things we pay for that. So why on earth would we ever be okay with someone that's taking it away?
Saying fuck them.
Yeah.
He's not even taking. He's saying fuck y'all.
I don't understand. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
I think the whole thing was a mask, though. As to like Rico's point, is like he's just putting it in our face. It's always been there.
That's not true.
No, it's the federal government. They have.
That's not true.
There's a history. Like you.
My thing is. I think you always thought you had more power than you had.
That's possible.
Thank you. That's all
possible.
it is.
That's all I'm saying.
I don't think I don't think people think that.
Just people in general. I think they let us think that we ran some shit. And if we voted, it's gonna go a certain way. And you yell and you scream
and protest,
you cry and you protest. We'll listen to you and we'll maybe change a few things. But that just was never the case.
It's not an agreement. This has been a dictatorship forever.
All right, do people really have power in America, or is it just an illusion? Do people really have power in America, or is that just an illusion?
People have power. Do you want to say something, Ollie?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's very important to recognize that people have power. I'm going to use what happened in New York as an example. They have a law that states no New Yorker will go without a bed and food and medical care. I think that's it. That's what it is. And it was actually Texas who started importing their immigrant population to New York, and immigrants were occupying and taking these resources. And the taxes in New York raised because there was this huge influx of a population that couldn't work but were receiving these benefits. These policies were in place because of the people. We absolutely do have power. We are just not utilizing the resources that are available, in my opinion.
All right, go ahead, Ali.
If people didn't have power, there wouldn't be a need to control them, you know, or delete people when you can't control them. There wouldn't be a need to make it hard for people to progress in society. Everything in society is exactly how they want it to be. So you see that the 1% is always going to control a certain amount of product, a certain amount of wealth, and the rest of us are going to have to be the people that's being controlled. We become the so-called economy, but in order for them to exist, it has to be powered by the people who produce the products and who spend and consume in society. So we have a lot of power, but when you can control who thinks, you control the people. So if they didn't control us, there wouldn't be, if we didn't have power, there wouldn't be a need to control us.
Absolutely.
I would say that we should, Americans have the most power as a people out of any other group of countries of people, because America has a saying. So even your Bill of Rights is based on your power. Your Second Amendment is not just to protect yourself, but to also fight against a tyrannical government. That is what you guys are made for. That's what you guys are made to have your weapons for. America has the most powerful group of people in the world, but America is not using their power and making sure that their government doesn't F them over. And I think now they're getting effed over and they are losing their power due to bending the knees for little crumbs, just for crumbs that maybe the government or the 1% give you, and you bend the knee and you keep bending the knee and you lose more and more of your power. But I believe that America, the government should be afraid of you.
Absolutely. And I think Donald Trump saying the things that he's saying, as crazy as it is, that's him exercising his First Amendment right. And I think that's the bigger point. If we get so reactive over just what words and sounds are coming out of people's mouths, we're forgetting that at a constitutional level, like she said, we all have rights. And it arguably could be him reclaiming the freedom of speech in this country.
What did he say that was crazy?
Grab her by the coochie.
Have you ever listened to Cardi B or Megan Thee Stallion or anything like
yeah.
that? You listen to it? Why not?
I mean,
why can she say stuff like that, but
that's a great point. And I think that's a great point, right? Why do we allow some groups of people to say certain things like
that wasn't what he said, by the way. He didn't say grab them.
Oh,
he said women are so easy and starstruck that they will literally let you grab them by their hoo-has. He said the truth, because women are sleuths that way for money. He said nothing but the truth. So help him God. And women got offended because he said it.
I didn't get offended because I don't even get into politics.
I will say this though. Don't let Bruce. Man, no, he's the goddamn president of the United States.
Yeah.
You don't get to say shit that Cardi B said as the president of the United
States. Not the same.
Why not?
We all
have the same.
What rule was that?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
He wasn't the president at that time.
And another group doesn't. Why?
He wasn't the president.
To a different standard though.
Why?
It's the same reason why you can't say certain things in a boardroom, but you can say it in a strip club. Come on now.
If I own that business.
No, absolutely not.
Who said you couldn't say it?
Absolutely not. I don't want my president talking about grabbing nobody by the pussy. I'm sorry.
He wasn't your president when he said that.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying when somebody asks, well, why can't the president say some of these things, but Cardi B can, because he's the goddamn president of the United States. Like
she has.
Oh, you should hear what Biden has said.
She has influence over millions of young women. She has influence over millions of American young women. You think that's not the impact of her power doesn't have equal, if not
more? See, that's the problem, though.
To me, though, it's not about the impact of their power; it's the job position. Just like
just because of the position of the job.
You're a representation of the country. I don't want the representation of our country, the leader of our free world, out there on out there in the world talking about grabbing women by the pussy. I mean, I wouldn't want Obama to go out there and say that. I wouldn't want Biden to go out there and say that. And if Kamala Harris would have won, I wouldn't want her going out there and representing the country that way. You are the president of the United States. It's the same
I don't think
reason
he's
why
representing the country saying that though.
He wasn't the
Man,
president when he said that, so I don't know why we keep saying that.
And in fact, we got people representing the black community that's going out there and saying worse and doing worse things than that.
Well,
We listen to their music, we wear they merch and quote their lyrics.
He
So
is
you-
saying though that there is a standard of responsibility that we should have.
Well, we
when
need to police ourselves at our doorstep
We can-
first.
but two things can be true at once. Yes, you're absolutely
Correct.
right. We can't have somebody be responsible. We can have us as the representation of the black community to be responsible for the things that they say, while at the same time saying that the president of the United States shouldn't be out there representing the country in the same way that Cardi B does. I'm not sitting here saying, like, if we take grabbing her by the coochie off the table, I
Right.
wouldn't want the president of the United States acting like Cardi B.
Fair, but
So
part of the reason
is
why
what's
people
happening.
like
And
him,
this is what's happening. In one ear in our community, we're hearing, you better eat it like groceries. And then we hear the officials say, eat it like groceries. Like, oh, no, hell no. Like,
Again, you're
Let me
comparing
ask you a
somebody who's a
question.
rapper to
So,
the president of the United States.
What song say that? What song say that, by the way?
somebody eat it like groceries. You know, Kehlani said
he's
that when she
representing, but
was on a song with, I think it was with Tiger, right?
yeah.
Oh,
If it's okay with the people and the officials
oh,
represent the
Janae
people,
Aisha.
then
Oh,
essentially
yeah, her, my bad.
he's talking like us. I think that's why people like Trump so much, is because even the way he talks, it's relatable. He talks like us.
I don't get into politics, baby. They're gonna do what
You
they
should
want.
get into politics.
They're gonna do what they want to do. The president is selected, not elected. I've been knew that.
You
Yeah,
you
what was-
might
what
not
was Mona
think
gonna
you
say?
might not think you're not in politics, but you actually are, and I can show you how you are.
Okay.
Have you ever worked for a corporation or for a job where there was promotion involved?
With a promotion?
Like, where have you ever worked for a company or a job where you can advance in promotion?
Hmm.
Have you ever leveraged yourself to get up the chain?
Wow.
I'm just saying.
I think my existence is leveraged within itself, though. My existence is leveraged within itself.
And let me ask you, so I don't mind people having freedom of speech, but it needs to be universal. Okay, if the president can do something, y'all gotta stop getting on teachers every time they get up here and say something. It's like, oh, get her fired and get her fired.
Valid.
Sure.
Valid. That is true.
That's
right?
true.
So y'all think Kamala was a better fit?
I don't.
What are we getting into? Huh?
It's all the same, boo. It's all the same. Promise.
I
you.
think I will say this. I think Kamala Harris is far more presidential than Donald Trump is.
She had Cardi B on stage.
Would she have been more supportive to the black community than Trump?
I didn't say nothing about that. I said she would be far
I'm just
more
asking.
presidential. I didn't say none of that. I said she would be far more presidential. The way she would present herself in the office, how she would speak, all of that, she would be far more presidential. Does that make her more qualified or what I voted for? No. I wouldn't vote. I didn't vote for neither one of them. I voted down ballot.
Yeah.
I didn't like neither one of them as options. But
question. Is the presidential office just some like figurehead? You just want them to look good, but if policy-wise they don't do anything good for the country, that's okay. Like, would you rather have someone who maybe lacks tact but is absolutely putting America first versus
There
someone
you
who
go.
just looks good?
We would rather have both.
Okay, I'm just throwing that out there.
also, I don't think Trump is for
I mean, I
America
don't have a
first.
problem with Trump, but I'm just saying if we could pick a person, ideally, we would want to have both.
Okay. Why do you think then? Okay, well, maybe we shouldn't get in there. Okay, valid. Do you think
I'm
Kamala
just
was a
saying,
better?
don't hold your teachers to a higher standard that you hold than you hold other people. If we can agree on that,
I agree on that.
do it as you must. I don't care about
Let me
you.
ask y'all sisters something. There's a lot of women going around saying that they know God exists because of what's the dude that is with Cassie Ventura?
Oh, Adam Fine?
Is that what his name is?
Her
Yeah.
husband.
Her husband.
They said they know God exists because of men like him. What does that mean?
I didn't hear nobody say that. I didn't hear anyone say that.
Yeah, it's because
You may have heard one person say that. That is not.
No.
Well, I heard nobody.
Nobody.
I
I
saw
heard that.
videos lined up back to back talking about praising him
I
for
didn't
through the
see it.
midst of what Cassie is dealing with. Her husband is standing strong.
because he has normalized that you can go through all you can have a body count of 1,000 and go through all types of different things in your past, and there will still be a good man at the end to save you with marriage.
You don't think she's setting women up for failure from getting behind that?
Mm.
Because
She already married.
That's a take.
Nobody's
saying.
already married.
I think that's
I'm saying if women are actually in droves, like, you know, hoorah, like, we support that. That's what we need. You don't think that because men are not getting behind that and championing that and confirming that, you think that maybe that's a woman set, or these women are setting themselves up for failure by saying that this is the type of man that we need, knowing that none of the men are agreeing to be like that.
So that again, I'm glad you brought that up because it goes back to the other point of men look for different things. And we were talking about white women's men versus our men, right? They have a different standard for what they choose as a wife. Case in point, Cassie's husband. You know how you were saying that we should look to, you know, white women to get our how to be wives.
Who's what?
You think that dude represent all the white dudes?
No, I'm not saying that, but there are. So listen to what I'm saying. So let me finish talking, because no, I don't think he does. But if we look in history, for example, the person with the highest body count is married to a white man. The World Guinness record of the most bodies, she's married.
So do you think that? Do you think that?
Now, I'm not saying this because I agree with it. Absolutely not. I'm just saying different men like different things.
That's true.
Okay. Everybody don't, and I'm not saying it's right. And I'm not saying you should follow that. I'm just saying different men like different things.
So maybe it's not the body count. Maybe it's what Ali suggested earlier. Maybe cooperation is very important. We know you coming in the gate with being bust down and your tonsils been swollen up by the dude down the street. So maybe the guys are having enough grace and acceptance to be able to deal with you so long as you can meet the other the checklist, things on the checklist.
I think
Not
that's
even
exactly
meeting
what
that. I'm just saying, maybe
I want to
that's
see
what it
these
is.
videos of these women saying this about this guy.
You want me to put it in the back
What's the
chat?
hashtag? Is there like a
Trust me, I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt they start a movement behind it.
Nobody is checking for him like that, but they all know he came up off that money too. The women know.
But be honest though, do y'all think men should be able to, like, somebody like that
came up
went
out
through
there.
that? I get it. The
Let's
woman
get
went
it.
through a lot of trauma. You know, she was abused and all this stuff. Some may say she was complicit in a lot of this stuff. But do y'all think men should have grace and compassion and acceptance for a woman like Cassie?
They can do
I
what
think
they
that
want to do.
people
Men can
should.
do what
I
they
think
want
that
to.
people should. I don't think it should be disrespectful or down her. However, marrying her, like, I don't think that. Like, I wouldn't promote my son marrying her. I wouldn't promote any man that I love marrying her. No.
Trigger Mike said she married to a fan. He's obviously a psychopath. So
Okay.
there are a lot of men who will accept, and this is why I think men should have higher standards, because it seems like every single time you guys give us grace, we push it all the way to the next level, and you guys almost have no other option but to accept it. So I don't know. I don't think.
How old is she? How old is Cassie Ventura?
I don't know.
She's 38.
I think she's like in that Marion era. Like, isn't
She's
she like
38.
30?
38.
Yeah, something like that.
Damn, she old.
She's
No,
on her
I'm
third
old.
baby.
I'm old too. So I'm-
Three babies.
He just started having kids.
So what is the
Somebody
equivalent?
said 39.
If we was to draw parallels, what an equivalent of a Cassie Ventura? You're a woman who's 40 or 45 that went through the term of racking up bodies over X amount of years. It's just Cassie did it in a short span, in a more popular span. but it's just the same equivalent of a woman waiting till she get about 40 to try to check in.
Absolutely.
So let me just say this, because I'm so tired of people saying that, because that's not always the truth when it comes to people in their 40s. I, for one, I'm not gonna speak on myself. I've always been a compromiser. I've always been a nice person. I've been very domestic. I cook, I clean, I do all of that. The feminine woman that you guys talk about, y'all like, I was that from the beginning.
Did you get married?
But yes, I've always been that person. I tell y'all that all the time. I compromise.
Did you get married?
If I can make it happen, I'll make it happen. That's just my person. And if you ask anybody I've ever dated, that's why they always try to come back as they got older. But let's just be real. I don't know how old you guys are, but when I was growing up, men wanted Miss Independent. INDEPEN, Miss Independent. And now y'all got her and y'all don't want her. You understand? So let's not play like that wasn't
sounds like you were bamboozled by those music. You were bamboozled.
No. I've never been Miss Independent. I've always been the person that I am. The person I am today is, if you know me, you know.
Darwin asked if you're married.
You said what now? I'm sorry.
Darwin asked if you were married.
I'm not. That's why I'm saying.
Why not? Why not?
Maybe you weren't what you thought you were.
Well, I did ask, and I've been called a doormat.
Asked.
So yeah, I've asked my exes, but the person I was in a relationship.
Asked your ex to marry you?
No, wait, huh? Oh, you're saying, I should ask him to marry me. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
First and foremost, let me address something real quick. Lil Boosie and Neo made them songs for y'all. Them songs was not a representation of how men felt. Men was not running around here talking about some, man, I really want Miss Independent. He made that so y'all could shake y'all ass in the club.
So
that was not made as a male anthem.
So Sweeney. So what I'm saying to you is there are men who want women who are boss-like, okay? They do. You guys on here speak about women who are educated, and they are the minority. Most Black women are not educated, but y'all are obsessed with the ones who are. But there's 60% who are not, but y'all don't talk about them ever. The majority of Black women are not educated. 60%.
Are those the?
But you are so you're so focused on the ones who are. Why? Because that is what you want.
But no. Are those the men?
People don't obsess and talk about people they do not want. That's all y'all talk about. Oh, she get her education. Those people are not the majority. It's only 37% of them. The other 60%, y'all don't talk about them. Y'all don't. It's like they don't exist.
You have to go back to the beginning of the conversations. Why is their education a topic of conversation?
What I'm saying is, why talk about them if they're the minority?
Because they're the ones complaining. They're the ones complaining. So if they're gonna get up, if women gonna get up here and create videos and everything else complaining about how they're the most educated, how they're running laps around Black men, and how they're shitting on Black men because of their education, then it's gonna get addressed. We can talk about that. Now, if you want to talk about the issues that we have with the women that don't fall into that, I think Ali covered a lot of that. That just because they don't have education doesn't mean that they're more submissive. Just because they don't have education doesn't mean that they're more, that makes them better partners, because they also are a problem. We complain about y'all across the board. It ain't just the education. It's a whole lot of shit.
So now listen. I understand what you're saying, but we talk a lot about, our parents taught them to go get an education and all these kind of things, right? But I'm telling you, most women don't have an education. That's not true. Most Black women are not educated. So if you're saying that that's the issue, that's not the issue.
It's the mindset. It's not just the education.
Why didn't you correct the woman who came up here saying that?
Hold on, wait, Bruiser. It's not just that. It's the mindset. Y'all are taught to put everything before a man. Y'all are taught to do everything but get with a man. Whether that means go out and get an education, whether that means go out there and get a job, whether that means go out there and get your own money, whether that means go out there and make a kid and say fuck him. Yeah. It doesn't matter. It's the mindset of y'all being taught to do everything but be with a man until y'all are 35, 40 plus, and then it's okay. Then now you can settle down for one.
So I have a question. So with that being said, let's just say you're correct. Are men being taught to marry women early in their lives?
They're being taught to value women. They're being taught to partner with women.
I said
Men,
marry.
hold on, wait.
I said
And
marry.
yes, as a matter of fact, yes, we are, because that's why men are more marriage minded than our own damn women.
That's not why.
Listen. So my question is this: then why is it that you have access to every race of woman? Y'all all date them all, but yeah, you're not marrying them either.
One second.
Your marriage rate is 30%. If you have access, we know people love black brothers, right? You guys are there, but they're not marrying them either.
They fetishize them. They want to have that. Some other races want to have relations with them, but they don't necessarily want long-term relationships.
No, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true, sweetie. One second.
I think the women do want to have relations.
The question is, one second.
Oh, y'all, one mic. You can't hear us.
I'm going to answer. Let me just say this. I'm going to answer Shan. Okay.
I want an honest answer.
I'm gonna give you an answer. Yeah. Because Ray said the women don't want to marry. That's not true. I mean, all races of women want to marry a so-called black man.
But they want to divorce y'all too. I mean,
whatever. You even know you're a man, so I'm not talking to you. So anyway,
I don't know a perfect man. I don't think that exists, to be honest.
That's fine. You don't know no man. So anyway, so Shani, to answer your question,
I only know American men.
Date a Jamaican. You will satisfy your needs. Anyway, so Shani, let me tell you this: the number one reason why men are not marrying most women is because the truth is there's not a lot of good men around, and y'all gonna have to share a good man. And a lot of women don't want.
Is he in your back? Is Marcus in your background?
I'm just being real with you. To get with a good man, you're gonna probably have to listen. A lot of good men is like a Pokemon. It's very hard to find a good man. I'll agree with the women with that for sure.
Pokemon.
But when you find a good man, you're gonna probably have to share him with another woman, and that's the problem. A lot of women don't want to share, and that's why all y'all single. It's just not a lot of good men to go around.
Are you a good man?
I don't mean if it's good or bad.
Am I a good man?
Yeah. Are you a good man?
Yes, sir.
No.
Are you married?
Well, I'm glad he was able.
Hold on, who said no, yo? What? Hold on, real quick.
Are you married?
I said it.
Why you say he ain't a good man?
Are you?
I want to answer. No, I have a fiance. I'm getting married. Yeah. So.
Damn.
So let me ask you a question, because you said most men are not good men.
Most men are not good. Yes. Yeah.
What qualifies you to say that you are better than most men?
Ooh. I tell women the truth.
Oh wow.
Most men lie.
What's the truth?
That's it.
Shani, I just told you. If you find a good, I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you, if you find a good man, you're probably gonna have to double up. Most men are gonna have more than one woman.
So do you have more than one?
You don't have to be a good man to have more than one woman. Do you have more than one
woman?
No. What I'm saying is, a good man will tell you, "I'm going to have more than one woman."
So you told them you don't have more than one woman.
Do he own a home though?
No, wait a minute. I got y'all.
Does he
Wait a
own
minute.
a
Hold on.
home?
Wait. So you told your fiance, "Hey, look, we getting married, but just know I'm gonna have more than one woman."
Correct.
Like lying his ass off. You lying to him right now.
I'm not lying. I just told you, sweetie. I just told you. If you lie to a woman, then you're not a good. Sweetie. Hold on. Oh, sorry. I don't know you. Sorry. What's your name? What should I call you? Sweeney. Nigga, it's close. Like, change your name.
No, it ain't. Do not call me Sweeney.
Anyway, one of my, I told you, there's two things that makes a good. Well, there's a couple of things, but I'm gonna give you two nuggets. One, a man should not lie to a woman. He should just tell her straight. He should not lie to her.
What I told you, women, rather you lie to.
I have a question.
That's true too. Darvin, I agree with that. I agree with that.
I have a question. Sweeney. So Sweeney, I have a question. I had the same question.
Hey, call her right now. Call her right now.
Before you ask me the question,
bro, if my woman was, listen, if that was true with me, I could call my woman right now and prove it like bang.
Wait, you want me to call my fiance and prove it to you?
Call her.
Listen,
You want me to do that?
He don't have
Call
no
her.
fiance. I bet you don't.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Darwin. As a man, I will not do that because you will not tell me. I can't pay you no money to call your wife right now.
You don't
Call
got
me,
no fiance.
Darwin. Prove that you got a wife and call her right now. Prove you got a wife and call her right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Darwin, where
You see how stupid that sounds?
Oh, he
You
called
see how stupid that
I
sounds?
have a question. I do have a question.
Go ahead, Shay.
My question is, so he brought up, he said that there are not enough good men. How do you guys think that you stack you when you
He's calling her?
Are you calling your wife?
Yeah.
I met Darwin's wife before. So listen.
She might not even answer. She not submissive though.
How you doing, boo?
You're probably asleep.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on.
Just laying down. Can you come down here?
Why you want me to come down?
His presence has been requested.
I just want to kind of lay with you.
I'm gonna come down there. You gotta make
I think he has to go.
ready when I come down there, all right?
Your body rocking, knocking.
All right, now your turn straight like that.
He has a wife.
Your turn.
Yeah,
Your turn.
Get your girl on the phone. Get your girl on the phone.
You ready? You ready?
Yeah.
You ready?
Don't call your dog. Don't call your dog.
No. Darvin. That was fake. That wasn't a real call. That was fake.
That's
that was
his
fake.
wife for real, bro.
No, that was fake. But
that's his wife, man.
No, that was fake. It was
She
fake.
felt like she was laying down.
Hold on.
Nigga, please. They got apps for that. That's fake.
Tap the screen.
Really?
He said your wife is an AI. That's what he's trying to say.
Yeah, that was fake, brother. That was fake.
Man,
But Darwin, guess what?
They call your fake wife.
No. Wait. No. I'm gonna do you one better.
What?
He just left?
We can't see
It's focusing on my damn head. My bald head. Damn.
Believe you.
Maybe he went to get her.
Yeah, he's going to get her in person.
If he does, this is getting
No, he just ran away.
Man, I didn't want it to come to this, man. But hey,
I do have a question though.
He wanted. Damn, I can't even think of the term for it. But let him. Hey, I didn't want it to come to this.
What if he puts on a wig and comes back and tries to say that?
That'd be funny as hell. I ain't gonna lie. That'd be pause worthy, but it'd be funny as hell. But
I ain't gonna say nothing to him if you do that. I'm just chalk it up to the game.
He might be telling somebody to pick up the phone when he calls. Like on some shit.
He probably calling somebody. Hey, look, I need you to act like my wife.
Exactly.
Unmute your mic, bro.
But see, McPherson didn't have to set up. He did his.
Y'all know he just did it. He's telling somebody to act like his wife when he calls her. I promise you.
I can't believe he qualified being a good man. Was just he tells women the truth. Hey, that's it.
That's crazy.
That's the barometer.
Yeah, straight like that.
He said he wrote off most men just because he was like, yeah, I could tell him I want to sleep with multiple women.
Damn.
Hey, Shan had a question, y'all. She wanted to ask us a question. Go ahead, Shan.
I mean, it's late now. Shoot, I missed the. No, I wanted to know, since he said that he doesn't feel there are a lot of men. How do you guys see that as well, or do you think there's a lot of guys? And if you do when in comparison to other races of men, do you think you outdo them as far as husbands?
I would, as far as let me answer
being
that question.
a husband.
I would argue yes, because when you talk about black men, right, we are arguably the most liberal, the most supportive, the most likely to help you around the house, the most likely to be supportive of your dreams and aspirations. We are the most likely to give you a voice in the home. Like when it comes to us being like, when women say, when the feminists came out and talked about how they want to equal and all of that from their men, and the white women was pissed off at their men, we were literally the prototype man that they were looking for. The only difference is that we just don't have the money.
I heard that black men actually listen to their women.
Well, this is what I would say. Is most good men? I would say, according to the terms of the women that are identifying these guys as good men, or whatever their criteria is for you to be a good man, I would say no. I would say, according to the woman's perspective on what a good man is, on what she called a good man, no.
Really?
Otherwise, they would be. Otherwise, because I think what women today think a good man is this guy who makes six figures, all these other things. That's what they think a good man is. That it's going to be emotionally invested and connected with them, have as much time as they need, always have an erection 24/7, and all that other shit. What you say, John?
Yeah, I would say that compare. See, the problem is that what's happening with a lot of men specifically, and this is honestly, white men are also having the same issue, and the Latino men. Like when you go over today's space, they're having the same conversations we having over here, and largely what is happening is that men in real life are being compared to an unrealistic man that exists only in women's imagination.
Facts.
Like, and you can't compete with that. Like they peacemake men together, like these multiple different men, into this conglomerate of a guy that they want to exist, and no man can fit that criteria. So now no man is good enough.
You actually have a lot of guys. To y'all credit, the archetype that y'all created over the short amount of years that just passed, y'all actually got a lot of guys subscribing to it and actually striving to become
They're
that.
trying to do it.
Yeah.
The relationship. So these men are actually willing to go out here and try to earn, and just so they can be more marketable to y'all.
Yeah.
But we're not
But
adapting.
the problem is when they become more marketable to y'all,
Yeah.
y'all still treat them like they're disposable.
Yeah.
I agree.
Like,
Because they are.
you get what I'm saying? Because it's just
Whoa. I
you
don't
can't
think
make any
that
mistakes.
part.
You said because
You
they
know what I
are.
mean? So
Because they are.
Hey, they are put Dub Will comment up there.
Okay.
This is exactly what I'm talking
I'm gonna
about.
go ahead and put this up there. Red, you mind explaining why most men are disposable?
Because
Why?
I didn't make the rules, y'all.
we know. We can't.
But
We
You
get it.
think most men are disposable?
We're listening.
I mean, women and men are both as disposable. The difference is men know how valuable women are, in that we hold the power for them to have a legacy and a family. So they,
most women aren't.
Well, I would say it's kind of hard for us to dispose of y'all, especially
Exactly,
if we
that's
got
what I'm
assets
saying.
tied into it, if we got our kids tied into it. It's not lucrative for us to treat y'all as disposable.
Yeah.
And oftentimes we have to hold on to y'all for the sake of, being able to see our children, or even be able to continue to hold on to the things that we work hard for in life. So it's not really easy to just dispose of y'all like that. Like y'all could dispose of us because y'all got
Exactly.
the state back y'all.
Yeah, you just explained why men are disposable versus women. But women are disposable, but y'all really, like you said, it wouldn't be smart for you guys to dispose of us the way women are much more agreeable and tolerable than men too. Like, we're easier a lot of times to get along with than men. That's why I was trying to say earlier, men are, and particularly black men, are always a lot of times people divorce you guys. So.
And guess who set it up that way? The men. Look, men felt so bad for y'all during a specific period of time when y'all started saying, "Look, man, our husbands are leaving us with nothing but our shirt on our back." We said, "You know what? Let's change the laws to make sure that it's fair for them in relationships if shit goes south." And then y'all took that shit and ran. Y'all took we gave you an inch. And you took a whole goddamn mile and said, "I'm about to divorce you niggas for anything." You breathe too loud, divorce. You snore, divorce.
Crazy.
But was that really us though?
No, they get divorced when they run out of money. That'll be the main reason that divorces occur, is financial reasons.
No, it's intimacy reasons. That's
No, it's
the number one
financial.
reason. And corn addiction.
Let's look it. I'm about to Google it right now.
Okay.
Hold on, you said the reason porn addiction?
No,
Porn addiction and a lack of intimacy, communication.
That's not the main reason people get divorced because of that.
It is.
Let's look it up.
The toilet seat up.
That must be a new thing.
It is new. But
You
yeah.
didn't fix the comforter on the bed. Divorce.
The
I don't need credit to
a
come for my
series of
kid.
American.
Divorce.
A series
But
of
let me ask you a
American,
question. I do know that men made the laws, but it wasn't our men who made the laws.
No, we voted for some of that shit. For
We
y'all,
voted.
too. We voted too, and we.
You know, it's a
we
democracy, so.
So where'd you
didn't just-
go?
they didn't
Straight
just-
like that? You look stressed.
His wife said, "Don't you get up there lying on me talking about some. I told you can cheat."
No.
It's between abuse and financial issues.
Had a whole argument in the back. She been watching the live. The
I
whole
do have
time.
a question for Amira though, because I'm interested.
She probably unplugged the internet on him.
So Amira,
What happened?
They was in that motherfucker tussling. Look at he winded like a motherfucker.
Darren, you can't
He
talk.
changed
You
his
played
shirt
the
and everything.
video
He
with
had blood on the old
I
t-shirt.
hear your wife say you're allowed to be with other
That man changed his t-shirt and everything. He got blood on that.
My t-shirt's the same, bro.
You know, whooped his ass in the back. How dare you tell the people I'll let you cheat on me?
Hey, real quick, JR, I only got a couple minutes. I just want to say salute to my nigga Bruiser for representing the American black man well and calling this nigga bluff.
Hate him.
Who?
you have to use that word.
America wins yet again.
USA. USA.
The same country that enslaved you. That's crazy.
Hey, wait a minute. I thought you was. Wait. You say you got out the same boat. See, you say you can't trust these
You
foreigners.
hear that shit? You see how quickly they flip flop on?
1 second we on the same boat, the next if they enslaved us.
Yeah, but I'm not down with America, bro. You're the one chanting America. Like, what are you talking about? I never said I'm chanting America.
Then take your ass back to Kingston.
Who are you? Dub Will? Dub Will?
Dub Will.
All right, so what?
Lapeef veteran, Dub Will. They know me.
All right, so what's the contradiction that you think I made?
The contradiction is that an hour ago you said we got off the same boat.
Yes.
And now you saying we got enslaved. They enslaved your ass too, nigga.
Correct, nigga, but I'm not swinging USA. You doing that.
Yeah, because my ancestors built this motherfucker. Why wouldn't I chant it?
Because you're not from here and they enslaved you, dummy.
Where am I from then?
Nigeria, West Africa.
Prove it, Bomba Clot.
All right, so go do your Googles. Go do your ancestry. You'll see that.
I don't need to do my ancestry. I know where my grandparents from. Where your
So where they from? Where they from?
Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi. Where your grandparents
And where their grandparents from?
I don't need to know that. I know where my grandparents
All right, so then you're ignorant. You don't want to know.
I already know. I don't need to know.
No, exactly. I just said that. You don't want to know.
Here's the thing.
You don't want to know. You don't want to know.
Hold on. Didn't that history get erased?
No.
And the same people that you signed from, didn't they sell my ancestors into this hellhole?
No.
They didn't?
Yes. That is a fact.
Oh, okay. That's a fact. So why do I need to know the people? Why do I need to know the people that sold my ancestors into slavery?
You don't know that because you didn't study it, so you don't know that.
I did study
His
it.
country.
So then tell me who sold. So who sold you?
I don't need to know them. They sold my
people. You just said that you know.
No, you said Nigeria. I said I
said that's where you're from. I said that's where you're from.
No, that line got cut once they sold us.
Okay, but I'm asking you. You said that you studied. You know who sold you. So you say it's your own people, right?
Somewhere in West Africa, somewhere over there.
Okay, but I'm saying your own people sold you, right? That's what you said, right? All right. So how do you know that?
He's trying to do the same.
Not my people. If you sold me, you ain't.
I'm asking Dub Will. How does he know that his own people sold him?
It's called reading, sir.
Okay, what did you read? Quote the scriptures and quote the book. Like, give me the reference so I can study it myself.
I thought you said you already knew.
I do know. I'm asking you to prove
so
your
tell
point.
Me. I already told you where I'm from.
That's not. No. I'm not going to give you.
Where I'm from.
I'm not going to give you the information to prove your point. You got to prove your point.
You don't need to give me anything. I can once they sold us, I can care less about over there.
Yeah, but you're saying no. Your argument.
Let me see if I can help you. My great grandmother used to tell my grandfather and all of his siblings stories about how her grandmother would they were actually taken into slavery in Africa for years.
Wow.
And then they were sold. Somebody came over there to buy slaves over there. They were captured. They were captured and on the run and all that other stuff. Slavery existed before the Atlantic slave trade. There was tribes that were captured by other tribes and all kind of shit, bro. So
Absolutely.
And Darwin, don't let this nigga deflect. Get your woman on the phone and let her see what you got to say.
Nah. Listen, Will, you can't just come on here and make claims and then tell me to bring my woman. Bring your woman.
My woman in the bed was sleeping.
Okay, my woman's in the bed sleeping. I can't get out the bed. Same thing.
You can't get out of bed?
No.
How convenient.
How convenient for you to hop on and tell me that you know your history, but yet you can't tell me what reference or what books or what sources you have to claim that your people sold you. You can't even claim that.
How can I? What do you mean I can't claim it? This has been studied ad nauseum.
So give me the reference.
What the hell does that even mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
All right, so give me your sources. I can give you mine. Where you from? I can give you mine.
So wait, you can give me sources where I'm directly from. Me.
Correct.
Educate me, sir.
No, I'll give it to you. I don't want to educate you.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
So give me your email. I'll send it to you. That's it.
What is the argument here? I'm confused.
You send me your email. If you send me your email, if you put your email in the chat.
And Jamal thinks you're deflecting.
What's the question? I'm not understanding. I don't.
I think straight like that said that Dub Will has been sold, or he been put in the.
No, he said he know where I am directly from.
Of slaves,
oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
I mean,
he's saying he.
Wait, question: are Black Americans and Black immigrants, are we different?
Yes.
What?
Are foundational Black Americans?
No, we're not different. Like, if I didn't tell you I was Jamaican, you would think I was born here. Me and you are.
I can tell you right now.
He's not giving that. It never gave American.
Right off the bat.
It never gave American.
Okay, cool.
Right off the bat.
It never gave.
Okay, cool. All right, cool.
I would have, but I'm also first generation.
It's giving Caribbean for sure.
So back to what
you didn't know that. You didn't know that until I said that. You didn't know I was Caribbean until I said Jamaican. And then you guys asked follow-up questions to validate that statement. So I didn't know where I was from because I don't look no different.
I would say the only thing that probably would have gave it away from me
the accent
was your grooming is international.
I was gonna say the hairline
because they don't usually line that shit up for real like that. No, I mean, it ain't shots. I'm just saying.
Yo, brother, is that a shot and you're bald?
No, I just said it wasn't a shot, bro.
So then, okay, so you bald. Like, that's crazy, bro. Like, what happened? You can't grow hair? That's crazy.
Yeah, I can grow hair, man.
That's crazy, bro. You can't grow hair, bro.
I just cut it because I don't my hairline was like yours. I would cut my shit.
Okay, so it's not like mine, and you cut your shit, and I kept to keep mine.
I'm saying your shit is lean.
Y'all, let's not. Why are we doing this for real?
Because Darwin is mad because he bald.
Also,
let his ass cook.
I'd rather have a crooked hairline than no hair, Darwin. I'd rather have a crooked hairline than no hair, bro.
No, I beg to differ. I mean, we got a barber sitting up here. I think he would even challenge you on that.
But you can't even go to a barber. You can't even go to a barber. You can't even get a kid.
I don't need to.
Yeah, because you bald.
But I guarantee you one thing though. I bet
you got more.
I bet you if the ladies were to choose, who would they choose between me and you?
He said he got a real wife in his house.
You don't want that smoke, do it?
Yeah, I do want that smoke.
Y'all doing this man.
Your wife is fake. Your wife is AI.
He has a wife. I've seen his wife.
If you see my wife, you would leave your fiance.
Doing? Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me?
All right, I can hear you too. So,
all right, cool. What's your name?
My name is Femi.
Femi?
Femi. F-E-M-I. Femi.
F-E-M-I. Okay, Femi. Nice to meet you, man. My name is Will.
Nice to meet you. I've been watching you since the first time you joined to the show, and I've been in this country for the past 15 years, I would say. And I want to know your opinion. If there is a divide or community between, how they say, foundational Black American and us immigrant African. I'm just going to give you a quick context and then let you answer. I personally feel that even though we might share the same skin complexion, there is a, I don't want to call it a competition, but there is a divide between those two communities. So I want you to know your opinion on there. Do you believe it's relevant to feel apart, feel different, or do you think that we should come together, we are the same, the rest of the United States see us the same way? And I let you speak.
Well, thank you for the question. I think it's a great question. I talk about this quite extensively from time to time. Now, I'm not a historian. I'm not an anthropologist. I have zero credentials to talk about what I'm going to talk about. All I have is a perspective and a belief that people argue all the time, but they can't prove me wrong. People and African people are not the same people. You are not my people. You might be super cool, super dope, and I may get to know you on a personal level, and we may become best of friends, and then you would be my person, my people, right? You know, like, oh, that's my brother from another mother. But as far as like people group, we're not the same.
Right.
I'm not from Africa. My people are not from Africa. I'm not descendants of Africans. Notice.
Yeah. I think it's important also for foreign Black people to recognize that all of this is because of foundational Black Americans and have an appreciation for it. To assume that, like, because if you were raised like I was raised, there is this stigma that you hear within our communities about foundational Black Americans, and then we come here and then we use the same rhetoric that white people use, and we are used as these like models of models of like, well, if they can do it, why can't you guys? And I think at the end of the day, we should be really, really cognizant of the fact that we're here because of them. Foundational Black Americans are the only group that held America to its promise of civil rights. So I think it's very actually disrespectful to assume we're all the same, because then you get used as, an example.
For what it's worth, I treat you the same. Like I treat my melanin colored folk. I treat them the same. You know what I'm saying? It's anybody that's American, anybody that's international. You know what I'm saying? Because whenever the shit go down, or they yell us out on the radio, they're gonna say black male, black. You know, they're gonna group us all together. So I got your back.
It doesn't matter how other people see you who are outside of you. It depends on what you guys see because you're inside. Just like nobody's going to know the difference between a Korean and a Chinese man because we're outsiders. Right. But people inside, you guys know the difference. Just like an American white person, you cannot say that they are the same thing as a Swedish person. And they look the same. They have the same physiology. We wouldn't be able to tell the difference, but they're not the same.
Right.
Oh, shit.
And for reasons that, like, we know why. We know that what the Atlantic slave trade did. So
there goes the neighborhood. They done brought the Kenny ass up here.
But is he saying that the Atlantic slave trade went to Jamaica as well? You do know that, right?
No, you don't.
I mean, but it
No,
just
you guys don't know shit about slave trade. You're just talking about the things they told you. You don't know nothing. You don't know any crap about slave trade. You're just reading the white man's book.
Before you talk, Kenny, you need to get rid of that receding widow's peak.
Oh, yeah. Of course, I'm Nigerian, but I got to tell. But you see, this is what I try to tell folks, right? Before you start saying what they taught you, you have to ask questions. Because number one, everybody on this earth knows that everything that the white man does is what favors him. He tells the story the way it favors him, just like the white man is committing suicide and committing genocide in Gaza today. 40, 50 years from now, he's going to tell the story different. He's going to say it's all those people fought. You see what I'm saying? So before you start talking about slave trade, you have to know how slave trade happened. I think I've told you guys the story before, but you just want to talk your bull crap and your talking point just to make a point.
Okay.
And I keep telling you that black people, both in Nigeria and America, are one of the most foolish people on earth. Europeans bound together, even no matter how much they hate themselves, they still bound together to fuck other people up. But we we know how to mess ourselves up. We don't know how to bond together to fight other people. What we do, both men and women, is to fight each other because guess what? It's easy for black people to tear each other down than to unite and fight the world. We're not good at it. That's the freaking thing about us. We're not united. And we're the most easiest people to divide on earth.
Was we
The
not,
most
was we
easiest
united
people.
before we was sold into slavery?
Nobody sold your ass in the slavery, and nobody sold your
Before we
great
were
grandfather in the
captured. Before
slavery.
we were
Man, stop
captured.
Do
that
you
lie,
want me
bro.
to tell you
Bro,
how it
stop that
happened?
lie, bro.
If you want, I can tell you how it happened.
How did
Because
it
you don't know.
happen?
Before
You
we were
have not.
captured, were we
Ex-
united?
Uncle, how
Guess
did it
what? You said what?
Before we were captured, were we united?
We were always united.
Well, why y'all ain't
No, we
bring y'all
weren't.
united
No,
ass
no, no,
over
no.
get
I will
us?
tell you how. I will tell you how united we were.
Not
Let me tell.
one nigga on a canoe came to pick us the fuck
Not
up.
one.
Don't talk about how we was united.
No, they can't. They can't pick you up. They can't pick you up. Guess
I'm used
what?
to
That's
Nigerians
bullshit,
now.
man. That
I
shit
got. Okay,
You know what?
give me
You know
two.
them, Sweeney. You know what they did when they saw us leaving? Fuck it.
Okay,
like,
let
come
me.
on, bro. We was united, man. Come on,
If you sarcastic about it, then I don't have to say anything. But if you want to know what happened, then I can tell you, and you
Oh,
got to
okay.
give me
Oh,
2
okay. My bad.
minutes.
My bad. Go ahead. Go ahead.
But if you're sarcastic about it, then there is no need to talk about it because you're just being
All right. Go ahead.
sarcastic.
Go ahead. Straight up. Straight
But
up. Go ahead.
let me say this: Africa was united because Africa was very, 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 very comfortable with what they had. That is why what we did mostly was exploration. We explored the world. We went to places. We changed universe. We went all the way from south among the west of African coast all the way to Egypt and beyond. That's what we did. We developed civilizations as we went. We built Mali. We built the richest man on earth. We built the richest kingdoms on earth. We developed Spain. We developed Italy. We built those places. It's in our history. We went there to build Europe. Africa built Europe. But guess what happened?
you don't
In
get the
our comfort,
you
they
don't get the
came because
let alone claim on the
the only thing that
nation of the
European
world.
man knows. Sweeney, give me a minute, brother.
You
The
said
only
no
thing that
comfort.
You can't know. You
the
not
only thing that
you not
European man
understand
knows is
the
one
element
thing:
of the world,
is to
bro.
steal. Because they've always been criminals. All they do was to steal, steal, steal. They've always been like that. That is why the city of London was the most dirtiest place. So this is how it happened. When they came to Africa, this is how it happened. They came to Africa, right? African men are taller and stronger. We've always been like that. But the Arab man was the one that told the white man that there is gold in Africa because Mansa Musa took gold and went to Mecca. On his way to Mecca, he destroyed the Arab economy. So the Arabs didn't want to come and rob Africa because Mansa Musa was Muslim. If they come to Africa to rob Africa, guess what? They will be indicted because guess what? They don't even care about the religion. They just using the religion to make money. You know what they did? Just like just like they've always done in life, they contacted the Europeans to go do the dots. The Europeans came and stole and invaded Mali. This was 900 years ago. They invaded Mali. When they invaded Mali, they loot Mali, only to find out that, hold on a minute, the gold that the Arabs told them to come and steal wasn't just the only gold. There is far beyond gold in this continent. So when they came, they never left.
You guys were enslaving yourselves before Arabs even got there.
Africa, okay, let me tell you a story because Mira, let me tell you this, right? Africa never had slaves. Arabs have always had slaves throughout life.
Wait, so you're telling me that the kingdoms
Sweeney,
that went to
Sweeney,
war, they
Sweeney.
didn't take the other
Number
people?
one, Sweeney, you have no African studies whatsoever. You don't even know any goddamn thing about
I
Africa.
know y'all sold us.
Guess what? If you want me to tell you how
Don't
you were
say that.
sold, do you want me to tell you how you were sold, or you want to tell me
You sold us some
we sold
textile.
you?
No.
Which one do
We
you
want
want?
you
You
to
want
hold
me
on.
to tell you
Hang
from
on.
an African
Nobody come
perspective?
over
Why
there
don't
and
you
steal
hold
us.
on? Why don't you tell us how we were put on these ships and large like that?
Okay, good. And that's where I'm heading to.
No,
And this is
I
how.
just want you to go there.
And this, I gave you history of how it came down. And this is what happened. This is how you were sold. When the Portuguese came to Africa.
Thank you. Jewish.
600 years ago. Guess what they saw? Because the Europeans were skinny. They couldn't walk. They came to Africa in search of spies. Just like as African has ever done, we never enslaved anyone. What we did is that we had what they call servants. And in Africa, if you are a servant, you have to stay with your master for 7 years. After 7 years, your master has to settle you with a land and marry you a wife.
You still have not told
That's,
us how we wound
excuse
up
me,
on ships in America.
Sweeney, let me tell you something. If you don't want to hear me, bro, you can just have the floor.
Yeah, but
Get
what you
past the
doing?
bullshit. Get to
I'm
the part where
telling you how it happened
where
now.
we
We're
wound
asking
up
you,
on the
how did
bottom
they
of the ship.
load so many slaves?
And this is I'm telling you how the Portuguese, because the Portuguese was the one that started slave trade, right? So when the Portuguese came, they then, in search of spies, found out that these men are tall and bigger. They asked Africans, the chiefs, we need servants that can cultivate in our farmyard. Just like your custom, after 7 years, we'll let them go. But guess what? They gave them they said, okay, they gave them the best of their men. These are giants. Do you think Africa is going to sell giants? Why on earth do you think Africa will sell the best of their best?
What?
Now you're asking us a question, but you haven't answered that.
No, I'm telling you the thing. They
Why y'all
tricked
leave
us.
now?
Guess what? They tricked us. They took our own people in the name of they need servants.
They tricked us
Instead,
to getting
they
on that
took
boat
them. Huh?
and planking like that.
Okay. I'm
What your
telling you how
brother,
it happened. I'm telling you how it happened.
brother,
So
real quick.
these guys, it's just like somebody that came to buy something from you and then tells you that, you know what, can you please allow your cousin to work in my farmyard?
And that
And
boy
guess
said, "Yeah, I go." And that boy went down in the bottom and laid down on
and
flat.
get no. Let me tell you. So what they did, they allowed them to have them, but what they didn't know, once these people are out of vicinity, the treatment was different because guess what? We didn't have internet, we didn't have television, so we didn't know what was happening beyond our purview, right? Then when Africa found out in 1868, of what was going, by then there is printing press. It was the printing press that let Africa know that actually these people are being enslaved. And African kings and the rest of the world fought to stop slavery. That is the slave abolishment that they did. Because Africa said, no, we're not giving you anybody because we heard that you guys are enslaving our people. So when Mira said Africa is slaving, no, Mira, Arabs have been slaving people for the past 3,000 years. They are
And they're still doing it. And they're still doing it.
Look at what the Arabs are doing in Libya today. Look at what they're doing to Africans in Libya. And they're still doing it.
And they're still doing it.
Look at what they are doing in Dubai. Look at what the Arabs are doing in Dubai.
When they
Come
found
on,
out,
Mira, why would you
when they
talk like that?
hold on, what? So when they found out through the
My
printing
Nigerian
press
great
that they
grandfather
were
sold
slaving our
slaves.
people,
Nigerian
did they come
journalist
over
and
there to
novelist.
retrieve the people?
You said what?
When they found out through the printing press, hey, these
Yes.
guys are actually enslaving our people. Did they
Yes.
go over there to retrieve the people?
Okay, I will now answer that question 2 ways. Number one, Africa cannot retrieve him because you got to go to war with the West to retrieve him. You
So
see what
y'all
I'm
was
saying? No. You can guess what, man? Guess
Straight
what,
like that.
Sweeney?
So y'all was
In your
Straight
condescending
like that.
attitude,
What
you
does
can
America
call
do?
any name you
What does
want.
America
That's
do
fine.
when we have a fallen soldier or a POW, a prisoner of war? We going to go get that.
Listen. Okay,
And we
so
gonna go
when you
send
have
something in exchange for that motherfucker. They didn't
so
send
when
out
you
they
have
didn't send a goddamn Christmas card.
so when you have a POW, you're supposed to send another soldier to go get it, right? I agree with that. But what the elder is saying, what my uncle is saying, and uncle, I appreciate you, brother.
How is
Honestly,
he your uncle?
I appreciate you.
See, this is the reason why.
Sweeney, let
No,
the guy talk. Let the guy talk.
Sweeney.
No, Sweeney, I'm more than 10
Sweeney,
years older than
Sweeney,
you. You might not call
Sweeney,
me uncle, but there's a
Sweeney.
respect.
Hold on, uncle, I got
Go
it.
ahead, brother.
I got
He's
it
the
because
same age as me.
Sweeney.
Why you ain't call me uncle?
I got it because Sweeney is more
Go on, I'm 5 years older than you.
unlike Darwin. Darwin is military, so Darwin just has code of ethics, which I respect because he does have a certain level of decorum. Sweetney I feel more.
Oh, that nigga Sweetney.
I feel like Sweetney to me. I feel like he's. Sorry, brother, if I'm saying your name wrong.
Bro,
I
it is
apologize.
Sweeney,
I don't.
like
Sweeney.
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 Sweeney. Okay, sorry. Okay, so Sweeney. Okay. So Sweeney is our brother also, but the reason why I feel more for him is because you're giving him a history lesson, right? Which he can go verify, to be honest.
I can verify all of this, but there's also accounts that goes against it. To tell me tell me your account of it, but there's also accounts that says something differently. That
Sweeney.
told us. Don't sit here trying to pretend, play in our face as if y'all weren't complicit in the skin trade.
No.
Y'all didn't make money and get rich off of it. Y'all trying to make it like you were victims in this situation. You weren't.
Okay, 1 second. Let me ask you a question, Sweeney. Do you think Africa is a continent, right?
Yes, it's a continent. Yes.
All right. Do you think every black person that's on Africa is from the same tribe of people?
No, I do not. No, I do not.
Just because they have melanin?
No.
Okay. So what the brother is trying to tell you that the people that you think are your people that sold us into slavery are not your people. Just because they have melanin doesn't mean that you're your people.
Matter of fact, I even said, if you sold us, you are not my people. I never.
No. I'm telling.
So, but don't sit here and say, "Oh, it was the Arabs," or "Oh, it was something." No, it was the.
It was the Arabs. It was the Arabs.
Arabs. Y'all participated in it.
No,
West
brother.
Africans also participated in it. You
no, the West Africa. Okay, so
as if you are a victim in the situation.
He said, "In our comfort."
Okay, Sweeney, I'm asking you a question. One second, Darren, and I'm going to end here, and you guys could talk. I'm asking Sweeney. Okay, does a Somalian or an Egyptian or an Ethiopian your people?
None of them are.
Okay, do they have the same skin tone as you?
Possibly, yes. Potentially, yes.
Okay. Just follow me. So in West Africa, the brother, just follow me. So in West Africa, the brother is trying to tell you that the original Arabs had the same skin tone as you, but they're not your people. So what he's saying to you is the people that sold you are not the people that resemble you, although they have the same skin tone. And if you do your history, the Portuguese that came into West Africa to start the slave trade, they're the ones that got the information from the Arabs.
So
because they didn't know that we were down there.
No, let's follow this logic. So the Portuguese got the information from the Arabs that there were some black folks in Africa that they can use as slaves.
Not black folks.
Then they rolled. Then the Portuguese went to Africa and was like, "Hey, look, we gonna buy some of your servants, and we'll give you some textiles." And then somehow we were stolen from y'all, and y'all were tricked into giving us away as slaves. And you telling me that that's all that occurred? That y'all weren't complicit in none of this?
Yes.
I ain't gonna say y'all, but the West Africans that was a part of the skin trade were not complicit in any of it. They were just aloof, had no idea what was going on.
The West Africans that sold us was not your people. That's what we're trying to tell you.
Man, look.
Although they had the same melanin, they weren't your people.
You know what's funny? I find it interesting that every single time it comes down to that, then they try to run away from that. That's the problem right there. Is that y'all that West Africans cannot be honest. Hold on, wait. That West Africans cannot even be honest about your participation in the skin trade.
No, Sweeney. The stupid thing is that you don't want to listen. That's the crazy thing.
There's articles that say that y'all were also
article written by who?
It was literally written by a person who was the descendant of a slave trader.
Excuse me, descendant of the slave in America, not in Africa.
A descendant of a slave trader in Africa.
Excuse me, a descendant of a slave trader that lives in America, not the one that wrote knowing what Africa. Let me tell you something, Sweeney. This is not one thing is this, brother. Let me tell you something. You don't want to know shit. This is not the first time I have this discussion with you.
Whoa,
You don't want to know nothing.
No.
And guess what? I don't give a damn telling you any more about it because you know what? I don't give a fuck if you want to know or nothing. It's your damn business, brother.
Listen, I'm
I don't give a damn.
I'm sure that you don't.
If you want to know, if you want, let me tell you something. You've set your mind in one position and you can go with it. I don't give a damn, man, brother.
Basically, what you're saying is just if we can calm this
I
down.
don't care because you don't want to listen.
If you
You don't want to know.
If you don't care, then you can bounce.
Because you don't want to know.
If you don't care, then you can bounce.
And you can bounce because you don't want to know shit.
You came up here.
Somebody that want to learn, want to learn. Because I've listened to you say this many, many times. Even in the background, I've heard you say it because you're so ignorant. You don't want to know nothing.
No, I am not ignorant.
You're very ignorant, brother. I've heard you speak so many times. You're very ignorant.
What you try to do is what a lot of people try to do. And
I don't want to do nothing. I don't want to teach. I'm freaking tired of telling you nothing.
No,
go ahead and talk.
You come over here trying to tell us where we come from.
Guess what? You don't want to know where you come from. That's your goddamn business. I don't care if you want to know.
Right, don't come over here trying to explain or try to
explain. I'm not explaining shit anymore. So you go ahead and talk.
About it then. And
go ahead and go. Oh shit, I don't, brother. There are people in the background that I'm talking to, not you. Because guess what? You're confusing those people. You're lying to them. Those are the ones that I'm talking to. I don't even want to talk to you about it anymore because guess what? Your mind is set. Your mind is set. And nobody can do about it.
I done heard that same bullshit time
and guess what? The bullshit you've had is the bullshit you want to go with, right? And you keep rolling with that bullshit. Because guess what? Your goddamn mind is set. And there's nothing anybody can do about it. So you roll with your bullshit, brother. That's all I gotta say.
You know
you roll with your bullshit.
No. Your bullshit's supposed to be better than white people's bullshit. But
because your bullshit don't want to know nothing. And guess what? My bullshit is better than white people.
Oh, so we supposed to eat your bullshit because your bullshit's supposed to be better than the white
guess
bullshit.
What? My bullshit is better than white people. Because guess what?
The funny thing is,
guess what? They're taking from me, I'm taking from them.
Listen, you can
but you gotta be stuck here because you don't want to know nothing. The same white people that you're trying to defend are learning shit every day and they're manipulating your ass. That's what they're doing. They're manipulating your ass.
White people faster than any group.
Man, let them keep doing what they're doing to you.
Y'all come over here in the line with white people faster than any other group.
Hey, man, brother, you got to be out of your goddamn mind because guess what? I don't even allay with white people because first, I'm not married to a white woman. I'm married to an African American woman. I never allay to a white woman. I never allay to white people. All the people I do business in this country, 90% are black people. You hear me? Because you don't know nothing. And you don't want to know shit. If you see African people and you want to run away, keep running. We don't give a damn about you, brother.
Do not come over here in mass in a line with Adolf.
Y'all you know what the irony of this situation is? Not only did you come over here to make a life and earn a living in America, you married to the product of slavery, of what slavery.
Guess what? Because I don't believe in slavery.
That's
I don't believe that.
Married to a
guess what? Because my wife is, as long as my wife is concerned and you concerned and Sweeney is concerned, all I see is black people. I don't see African American. I don't see slaves. Because guess what? My great grandfather was sold into slavery and he escaped. My great grandfather was sold into slavery. He escaped. That's why I wasn't here.
Isn't that the same thing you just said that finessed y'all, thinking the Arabs was on y'all side because they were black?
Black is black now.
And now you see black even today?
You said what?
Same logic you used whenever you said y'all were finessed by the Arabs. Because they were black. Now you're still with the same logic.
No. The Arabs, no. The other guy said that Arabs were black. I never said Arabs were black. That is not what I said.
Said Arabs were the same skin tone, the same melanin.
Arabs are diverse. They go from light skin because they were mixed with Europeans to dark skin because they are mixed with black. Arabs are diverse.
And that's what I'm saying.
Sweeney, I want to ask you a question. Sweeney, can I ask you a question? I need to ask you a question.
I didn't say that. Go ahead.
What's up, Mr. Ikene? I heard everything. I'm watching the whole stream. Just hang on. Sweeney, let me ask you a question. Like back in the slave trade when it all started, if you're saying that Africans sold black people into slavery, what did they get? Because Europeans didn't have money and currency isn't something that. Hang on. I'm just asking. Let me set the context. Let me set the context. Africa is the most richest nation on earth, which is why white people are moving to South Africa because of the diamond mines, the gold, all of the rare earth minerals, all of the exotic animals that get sold into an underground market, ivory, panthers, tigers, all of the leopard skin, all of the things that are expensive and rare to get are in Africa. So if we have all of this wealth, what exactly could we have gotten in order to sell Africans into slavery?
So one of the things that y'all sold us for was textiles. That was one of the things to the Dutch. When the Dutch came over, that was one of the things that y'all exchanged for in the skin trade. And to talk about, we didn't say South Africans did anything. We said West Africans. You can't then say, oh man, South Africans were the richest group on the planet. And considering the fact that a lot of the areas in Africa still have not been mined out correctly, considering the fact of how difficult it is when giving y'all geography, you can't say, even though y'all might have the most natural the fucking word I'm looking for.
Resources.
The most natural resources does not mean that y'all necessarily have the tools and the access to mine those resources. That's the reality.
So if we're the so what were
the largest things that actually come out of Africa has always been the skin trade.
So you think so? Wait. So wait a minute. You're saying that Africans, like as human beings, sold each other into slavery for textile? That's one of the things.
There was a number of things, but textiles would be one of them.
So what can we okay, so if textiles one of them, what else? I mean, we have all the gold, we have all the diamonds, we have all the rare earth minerals, and Europeans still to this day are traveling to Africa to pretty much extract the resources. Actually, you wouldn't have a market. You wouldn't have a king. You wouldn't have a London. London and Europe would not have kings. Would not have gold. Would not have jewels, which is what they have now. They have gold, jewels, all that stuff. That they don't have that in Europe. They don't have wealth in Europe. That's why they went around the world stealing shit.
And lying about history. After they come and steal shit, they lie about history.
No. What Mr. Ikene was saying was that when
I'm sorry, Ashanti, what did you say?
Was the trade for weapons as well? Guns?
Yeah, partially for weapon.
No. Back then, no, because firearms came from
gunpowder
in China. It didn't exist at that time. China had gunpowder.
One second, uncle. One second.
EBD.
Just to answer her.
I'm coming, brother. I'm coming straight. This is what I like to say. I like to tell the truth.
Right.
I don't like to sugarcoat things. I'll tell you the truth.
Right.
The people that did slave trade in Africa that went to far away to steal people, like the Benins, right?
Right.
The Benin Kingdom, when they did slave trade, yes, they did it for guns, and because then by 18, I think it was around by 1880, that was past the abolishment of slavery, right? The Benins did steal slaves far away from their towns, and they traded it for guns. That is why when they had a disagreement with the Queen Victoria in 1893, the war broke out.
I'm talking more 16, but go ahead. 200 years.
Then there was no gun. That's
what I'm saying. 16.
The reason why the British couldn't invade Africa. This is why the British couldn't invade Africa. For 500 years, the British were trading with Africa because they couldn't fight Africa.
Right.
The Europeans couldn't, even though they divided Africa, they couldn't physically fight Africa. The reason why they started fighting Africa as soon as Benin fell was because of the invention of the gunpowder.
Correct.
As soon as they invented the gun, they went to war because they couldn't beat Africa.
Yes. No,
and
you're
it's been
right.
that way, and it's been this way ever since. If you look at the most destructive weapons on planet Earth, from the firearm to the nuclear missile, it has always been a development of destructive weapons in order to steal from other countries. It's not a matter of just history, Sweeney. They're doing it today. That's how they operate today.
That is why they keep developing.
They operate that way today.
Hold on, real quick. I actually agree that the weapons were created for
whole
certain
issue is
some of those purposes. That's what my argument was against straight like that initially. That we don't have to have this economic power. Long as we got the weapons and the nuclear power, whenever we decide, we'll go take whatever the
my
fuck we
whole
want.
issue is not the fact that I get it. There may have been some instances, but West Africa was also complicit in the slave trade. To sit here and say that they had no
wait, who's telling you this, Sweeney?
Who's telling you this?
So now somebody, just some magical white person told us that only that
Yes.
West Africa.
Because you don't
wait, Sweeney, Sweeney. Hang on. You live.
Wait.
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
I would argue that y'all will both lie to African Americans and tell us the West Africans are saying it wasn't our fault. They stole y'all from us. And then the white Americans are saying, well,
Sweeney is partially correct.
Hang on.
EBD, Sweeney is partially correct. I will address that right now. Sweeney is partially correct. This is what makes Sweeney partially correct. You remember what I said, Benin, right? When I said Benin, right? The kings of Benin, the kings of Calabar, the kings of Yorubas, right? The Yoruba kingdom, right? All the way stretched to Ivory Coast. What they were doing is that they will send their servants to go and steal people along the stream, water stream, because people will go to the stream to fetch water. That's where they will kidnap the younger ones, not the stronger, but the younger ones. So those are the ones that they will bring to the kings, to those Yoruba coastal kings. We call them the coastal line kings because they are around the Atlantic Ocean. They are the ones that will sell it to the white people. Yeah, in that case, Sweeney is right. But when you say Africa is selling slaves, you're talking about cousins selling cousins.
Yeah.
So
that is not true.
So I'll say this. Hang on. I'll say one thing. I'll say one thing about. Go ahead, Darwin. What were you saying?
I think he might have meant one tribe conquering one tribe and selling that tribe.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Yes.
So we're
not. We didn't. Go ahead.
Can we agree that all of those tribes are African tribes?
Yes.
No. Yeah, but 1 second, Uncle. 1 second, Uncle.
You got to tell the
You
truth.
can't say African tribes. No, Uncle. 1 second. You can't say African tribes because not every tribe is of the same kin. Africa is a big continent. There's different.
Can we say there was a tribe that resided in the continent of Africa?
Yes, but hold on 1 second, Uncle. 1 second, because what their argument is, Africans so Africans, and then what I'm trying to say to them that what I'm trying to say is that you cannot say. That's like saying Americans enslaved Americans, although it was the Europeans enslaving the blacks in America. Those are two different types of. Hold on 1 second. Let me just finish this statement. I just want to finish the statement.
Pulled up in Africa and was like, "We gonna set up shop here in Africa. Then we gonna capture a bunch of Africans and sell them overseas, bro."
I have a question.
But okay, but I'm trying. Okay, so
basically, with your logic, you're saying New Yorkers sold people who live in New Jersey.
Right. No. What I'm saying is, you guys. Okay, Doran and Sweeney classify themselves as Americans. What I'm saying is you can't say if something was to happen with a slave trade in America that Americans stole Americans. And then when you really go underneath it, it was the whites that enslaved the darker races of America. Although you guys are both Americans, you guys are from two different kin. So when you're talking about Africans selling Africans, you're not saying exactly who those people were because Africa is a continent. There's so many different races in Africa.
That's why when I was talking to both of them, I said the Benin kingdom. And then I separated the kings from the people.
Ann been trying to get in for a minute, y'all.
You had a question.
Yeah. Can we agree that all white people benefited from white privilege, even if they didn't own slaves, even if they were poor?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a system.
Right.
It's a system that was in So in a similar sense, you don't have to be the actual African tribe that was participating in it. The harm that was done was that we sold our own. That is it.
No, your own didn't sell you.
I just feel it's a bit gaslighting to say, well, they did it, I didn't do it.
No. What I'm saying is, Ashanti, real quick. Ashanti, real quick. No, I'm asking you. Are you the same as an Ethiopian?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, but do you guys share the same skin tone?
Sure.
Okay, so what I'm saying to you is your own did not sell you, although to my uncle's point, the Kings did, but to Sweeney's point, he's saying Africans sold Africans. That's not true. Africa is a continent. You can't just say Africa and it represents all races of people on one land.
Okay.
It isn't. Wait. Here's why it isn't. Here's why it isn't. Let me just give it an historical analogy, right? Every story about Europeans conquering tribes is told through that tribe. It is what I hear Sweeney say, Africans sell Africans or Africans participated in slavery. That's not what I hear Africans saying. I hear Europeans and white people saying that. Every time we talk about slavery, what do they say? Oh, well, we didn't invent it. Africans sold Africans. So it's a white European argument, just like how the Native Americans were all tribes, but now that there are hardly any of them left, what do they say? Oh yeah, we wiped them out and we took and stole their land. No, they say they're savages. Indians killed Indians, and we arrived here and found. Wait. The story is we found America, and what do we celebrate? Thanksgiving, where Europeans and white people sat down and had a turkey. That's not exactly the story that happened. Everything that Europeans got, they stole. They didn't have money. They weren't ballers, and they weren't actually white. They were Europeans. That's a difference. Europeans know, right? You're Italian. You're not this, right? You're Sicilian. You're French, right? Not everybody was white. White wasn't a thing. Black wasn't a thing. Everybody had different tribes and were excluded. So Europeans were very a minority. They still are, but the word white is inclusive. It includes Italians. It includes the French. It includes East Europe and Scandinavia and all of these other countries. Right, but still. That's what white includes in modern day history to increase their numbers and their power.
Sold, that came over here and put people on ships. Don't y'all refer to them to the white man?
Yeah, Europeans. Well, in modern times, white and black are used colloquially, but back then there was no such thing as white. There was no such thing as white.
Darren, to your point, that was wrong. We shouldn't be saying white people enslaved us. You're right. Because it was really I'm not going to say it on this, but it's not just because as my brother was trying to say is you can't group. No, 1 second. Doran asked a good question. We do say that, and he's right, and that's a wrong statement to say because you cannot include all people with white skin as the same, and he's right about that. It's actually a group of Europeans that were involved predominantly. But to my brother's point, all of the European race benefited.
So let me ask y'all a question. At what period of time did y'all find out that we weren't just being treated like casual servants, that the same way that Africans were, that we was over here getting our asses handed to us? At what point did y'all find that out?
Oh, Ikene, you still on mute.
Let me answer that question. You'll be surprised when people start finding it out. If I tell you, you'll be shocked.
When I asked for it, when?
It's actually the invention of YouTube.
Y'all found out that we was getting fucked over here when
by invention of YouTube.
Man, get the
what?
Okay,
No.
You see?
I think he said the print.
Because Sweeney, let me ask you a question. Excuse me, Sweeney. Let me ask you a question, Sweeney. Let me ask you a question, and I want you to answer. You see how you asked me a question directly, and I answered you directly. I got to ask you a question, and I want a direct answer. Don't sugarcoat it. When was the first time you traveled out of America?
I've never traveled out of America.
That's the ignorant thing. That's why you speak the way you speak. You know why? Because outside this let me finish. Let me tell you why. Outside this country, you don't get no single news about this country. So
you didn't know shit about America until
you don't know shit about America outside America. You know why? Because America's greatest asset is America's media and Hollywood. They sell to the world what doesn't exist in this country. That's why this when Straight came and told you that he was lied to when he was 7 years old, you started arguing with him. But he was telling you the truth, that he was lied to.
Yeah, my father.
Just like I was lied to.
Yeah, my father. Wait. Hang on, sweetie. My father's Jamaican. My father's Jamaican. He's born in at a small village outside of Kingston, Jamaica. So what happens is when he was younger and all that, he got the story told to him is how did we get here? Where am I and how did we get here? And he got that story passed down from generation to generation to generation, and it was told to me. So now that I know the history of how, hang on, Sweeney, hang on, because this is how you're gonna know and not know, right? If the story isn't told from the tribe, from the people who were actually there generationally, just like Native Americans know what happened in this country. They don't need to go to school to know what the hell happened to them. They tell the story. They sit around with the elders and they get the information download straight past to them, and they haven't forgotten it yet. They haven't. You can write any book that you want in history and go to school, but the Indians know, the Native Americans know what happened. Indians in Pakistan and the Great Migration, they know what happened. They tell each other. We're getting information. Hang on. In America, we get information from people who are not African. And that is the problem. That's the lie. We weren't allowed to read.
Americans get is from non-Africans.
Yeah. Where do you get it from? Where do you get it from?
That is full of shit. That y'all
wait, Sweeney, where are you getting this from?
Of a literal descendant of an African slave trader that told their story about how their ancestors sold Africans. It's not just from white America. We're not just getting our stories from white Americans. And sorry, and hold on, wait. I'll just let you speak.
I just said okay. Sorry.
Fair enough. You said that these stories was passed down from generation to generation. So you're going to sit here and tell me that maybe it's not beyond the realm of possibility that they may make themselves sound more innocent in the slave trade from story to story as they pass it down?
No, it's not. It's not innocent. It's accurate. It's the truth. The truth is always. Wait, Sweeney.
Wait. So, but we were told a lie, but y'all know the truth.
Yes. I was told by wait, Sweeney. I wasn't told. I was taught. Wait. I went to school just like you. I went to public elementary school. I went to a higher education school. I was told a lot of things. I believed a lot of things until I talked to my dad.
EBD. Let me tell Sweeney this. Sweeney, when I was growing up as a little kid, right?
I'm good.
This is what they would tell us. They would say, "Don't go towards that side." And the reason why they said don't go towards that side that far is because that was a slave route.
Right.
One more thing before.
Let me finish, brother. No. Let me finish before you go.
You didn't learn about the slave trade until YouTube, but y'all knew to stay the fuck away from us. You're not listening to what I'm saying. That's why you made that kind of heinous statement. Before y'all got over here, y'all knew how to stay the fuck away from us, but you didn't know about our experience in America.
Let me say, because what you just said right now is so ignorant. Africans were never told to stay away from African Americans when they came here. Before they came here, that never happened. Because one thing, like I said, Sweeney just want to believe what they want to believe because whatever somebody told him, that's his problem. But this is what I'm trying to say. Africans were never told to stay away from African Americans before we got here. We were never told that because guess what? We all love the African American culture, listen to the African American music, listen to the gospel, and we tried to be just like they were in the gospel music, dressed like it, talk like it, rap like it, did like Tupac, did like Biggie. But guess what? Until we came here, then the story changed.
Yeah.
We didn't know that there is a hood like Washington, D.C., Northwest.
Right.
We didn't know that there was Detroit. We didn't know about Chicago.
The conditions
we didn't know
we were
about
living
Atlanta.
in.
We didn't know about L.A.
Right.
Inglewood. We were glorifying Inglewood.
Yeah.
Not knowing that blacks were killing blacks. We thought that it was white people doing that shit.
We were told, hang on, we were told, hang on.
Malcolm X came over there. He didn't tell y'all about that.
You said what?
When Malcolm X came over there, he didn't tell y'all about.
I wasn't even alive then. And guess what? When you think that Malcolm X is going to come to Africa, they're going to allow him to go to everybody, everywhere. His movement is going to be restricted.
Yeah, Malcolm wasn't on YouTube, so it couldn't get
And it wasn't
everywhere.
even on YouTube because
but
one
hang
thing that
on.
YouTube.
We were told. Hang on, Mr. Ikene. We were told as African Americans several things about Africa that wasn't true. Number one, you're poor. Every commercial about Africa is a starving child that can barely eat. 25 cents a day can feed a child in Africa. You were uneducated. You had no wealth. You had nothing going on for you. That's on TV here in America, in the media. When we see Africa, Africa is not poor. It never was. It's wealth. And I'm like, okay. So I thought to myself, if Africa is such a poor continent, what the hell are white people doing there? And what were they always doing there? Well, not white people as we say that now, but Europeans. Why were they always hanging around Africa? And now I understand that you couldn't have a monarch and you couldn't have the wealth and power that the actual English had without robbing Africa of its wealth, of its natural resources. Hunters and poachers still go to Africa looking for ivory, they don't go anywhere else for this stuff. They come to Africa to extract its resources because it's unlimited.
He's right.
Today.
All right. I guess we can get to the super chats, man.
Yeah. Just saying.
y'all ain't better triple, quadruple team me.
No, I'm not. I wouldn't do that to a bald headed brother. Nah, man.
Damn, that's how you feel.
I'm
hey,
playing.
I ain't even go at you. You throwing it. I'm gonna
Hang
get
on,
you.
let me shave my hair and donate it to. No, I'm kidding. But nah, I just feel like when we come up here and we talk about history and we talk about slavery, we don't get the whole story. And because I think it's because we're used to hearing one narrative from Europeans and then we just take it on faith. We take too many things from Europeans on faith and not ask enough Black people the actual story. Native Americans know their story. The Israelis know their story. Do you think the Israelis and what happened in the Holocaust, you think they get their information from some book or some article that somebody somewhere wrote? I mean, yeah, we all read the Diary of Anne Frank, but that's a book. People actually lived it and still know what happened and tell the story. That's how we know what we know.
I ain't gonna argue with you, man. I'm tapped out tonight.
So what hue?
Hang on, you muted yourself, Ashanti. You were saying something. I think you were trying to say something. Okay, well, she muted. We can get the super chats if you want, darn, like you were saying.
I don't even know if I can pull them up. They don't even give me access, man. God.
Oh my God.
I've been over here holding down all these years.
But I'll say this though, I do want to go to Africa. I mean, we've been told to stay away from Africa just because it's broke and there's no interest for us and there's no reason why we should go there. When I looked at Johannesburg, I looked at all of these other cities that are kind of first world. You have the Chinese that are building infrastructure there now. There was some deal that happened maybe a decade ago now. So now they're coming up to first world. And if Africa becomes part of the international global trade, then that's game over. We have all the resources. So why not monetize and use them all over the world globally, especially the rare earth metals, all the diamonds, all the gems, everything that technology is made from, which is computers. Computers are made from diamond crystals that oscillate. And when you oscillate that, you get all your technology. That's how we got everything.
EBD, I got to tell you something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that will give you perspective of what Europeans are doing. During the Second World War, the two most powerful military participants during the Second World War was African Americans and Africans.
Right.
They were the ones that fought gallantly in the Second World War and killed a lot of Europeans. But before that, the white people promised Africa that if you fight for us on our side, we're going to give you independence. And they promised African Americans civil rights, right? If they fight on their side during the Second World War. Guess what? African Americans and Africans fought wholeheartedly. But what Africans and African Americans didn't know was that the white people, after the war, united and said, no, we're not going to give them independence because these people were good at what they're doing. And guess what they're going to do? If we give them power, they will use it against us.
Right.
They had to delay Africa another 15 to 20 years before they then gave them independence that is not really independent. That aside, during the Civil War of Nigeria, while people were taking note of serious Nigerian display of engineering,
Mhm.
the Europeans sided with the northern Nigeria against the eastern Nigeria during that war.
Yeah.
They were marveled by the displacement of engineering prowess of the eastern Nigeria. And after that, the Europeans swore that never allow Africa to develop
Yeah.
after the
Yeah.
Nigerian Civil War.
Right.
And that's what they've been doing up to today.
Right.
Never allow Africa to develop
Right.
after that Civil War.
Right.
So we don't need them. We
Right.
have everything. But the
Right.
thing is this, their concern is if we get a hold of it, that we will not let them access to it. But guess what? It's too late now. Because guess what? African youths of today are more nationalistic than their fathers.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
African youths of today are ready to go to war.
Right.
Like you remember Ibrahim Traore, right? Traore. I don't know if you see him on YouTube, the current president of Mali.
Oh no, I haven't watched.
He's 37 years old, Ibrahim Traore.
Mhm.
What that guy is doing in Africa today is to show you what Africans 50 years and younger are doing. They are very, very nationalistic.
Yeah.
So you will see a lot of great things happen in Africa in the next 20 years.
Yeah.
It's not
No,
going to be the
I
same.
believe it. I believe
It's
it.
not going to be the same.
I believe it because I think if Africa has the knowledge and the tutelage that African Americans have had in this country while we've been here, like we built two nations. We built one in freedom in Africa, and then we built America itself. All of its power, wealth, and freedom came from us. They didn't build it themselves. They didn't generate it from anything but us. We were the labor that we were free labor. They sold all their cotton from us. All of that thing like came from us. With the freedom thing, they invented slavery to get wealthy and to have land and to have firepower. And that's how they maintain everything from us. If we weren't here, you wouldn't have immigrants that could come here. You wouldn't have people who have the right to vote. You wouldn't have a lot of things. You wouldn't have a house or a real job. You would just be property. The plan was from the beginning, from the inception of this country, you were supposed to be enslaved and property, and that was it. There's no expiration date. There is no contract. There was no, well, except for there was no exception for it. The inception of this country was supposed to be that Europeans were to own and dominate everything globally forever. No expiration at it at all. And it doesn't matter how many amendments there were, we are still supposed to be economically and socially at the bottom as chattel. And they can't do it outright in the open, but they can put us into a prison system that sets us back to chattel. You no longer have freedom. You work as cheap labor, and the state and everybody else gets the wealth. And that's happening today. They haven't changed their playbook. They haven't. They're still doing the same things that they did 16 whatever.
Just more efficiently with better technology.
Exactly.
And the issue is now that I think there's an illusion of separation.
Mhm.
There's that disconnect from who we really are is what creates that identity crisis, that dysfunction, that anxiety, that question of who we are. There is a wound in both communities, and we are there is and that third source that you mentioned, the white man is essentially co-opting that pain and using it for profit. And that is why we are in the position we are today. So if we had, because when you're telling me you did your own research and you had your own awakening, because after this conversation, I feel like there's a small bridge, like a small connection. If Black Americans see themselves connected and Africans see themselves as actually one, do you think that pain, that heartbreak that came from the disconnect would heal?
both sides would start to reconcile and heal, and it means that if we saw each other as cousins or as relatives or as just people or as just Africans, if we all just said the same thing, we're all Africans because this is where we descend from, then it means that we no longer need to stay here. We no longer need to be here. We can go somewhere else and have all of our rights and freedoms. We don't have to fight for anything. You can own land. You can be free. You can own a business. You can go to school. You can build your own school. We can be billionaires and millionaires. We don't have to be worried about being taxed or being pulled over or being put in jail for being Black.
Absolutely. And those countries are desperate to have talent, not talent back, but
yes,
to have, it's a necessary it's necessary for both sides. That liberation that you're seeking,
yes,
you already have your own land, and your own land is hurting because they need it. The land needs you back, right?
Right.
I just think one of the part of this conversation, why I was crying during this, because I could hear the heartbreak. Like it almost felt like cultural gaslighting.
Right.
It's like at the end of the day, because I think there was a question like, okay, so when did you guys find out we weren't coming back? Like, why wasn't anyone coming to look for us? Even when a fallen soldier falls, like the troops go looking. And then I think the response was, well, we didn't want to go to war with Europe. So then that implies that, okay, if you go to war, because if the original contract was, oh, they're going to come back, and they didn't.
Right. We were lied to.
Right.
We were
but
deceived.
Correct. But from their perspective, the reason why they didn't come looking was because you don't go looking for things you sold.
Right. Right. And hang on, you don't chain people you own either. You don't chain and beat and whip people who go willingly. If I am sold as a person and I belong to you and it's understood between both people, like wait, hang on. We have employment. Employment is not bound by chains by any measure of the imagination. I work for an employer. I work for his business. I perform a task for his business. There is no chains, no beating, no submission of any kind. It's just two people who need something and are fulfilling that need, like any kind of relationship. If the relationship was built on honesty and trust or anything, why would Africans go to war? They wouldn't suspect anything that goes on. It was when we started dealing with Europeans is where we started getting deceived and deception and things like that, the lies. Why, like people don't deceive each other. That's not a normal human trait or behavior. We learned that from Europeans, what a lie is and isn't.
Yeah, that's true. Shout out to African people are the most hospitable and genuinely trust-oriented people. It's so crazy. Like, you can go to Ghana and go eat and not have money. The owner will say, oh, you can pay me back tomorrow. And then you will actually go back and pay them back tomorrow. Like, the trust is ridiculous. The honesty is ridiculous. So this idea of being lied to is actually very reasonable.
And if you look at it through the lens of what Mr. Ikene has just explained and laid out, and what I just learned and laid out from my father in Jamaica, like everything in history makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Because it's happening today.
Yeah, it's happening today. And I think, but I still just don't, because
it's frustrating. Wait, it's frustrating. Here's what's the frustrating part. It's because for so long, I'm 43 years old.
Whoa,
for so long,
you're young looking.
Well, I shave, but because I have a beard and it's crazy. But when for so long I have been told from somebody else my story about what happened, and now that I figured out the truth of what happened, it all makes sense. Of course, they were lied to and deceived, and this. Every person who was shooking hands with Europeans have been screwed over because they don't have any wealth. They have nothing that we desire. Nothing. Africa had everything. That's why people came to Africa to do business.
Right. Actually, it's very. What I admire is how you have taken. You first have to be open to learning something other than you've been accustomed to, and I think that takes a lot of courage.
It does.
As Black Americans, there is I think one thing, one thing that you cannot dismiss is that this is a very unique experience that only they have.
Right.
And I think when you allow yourself to go outside the pain and then outside the narratives and then to find your own understanding, that's very courageous. So I'm from Ghana. I'm a first generation. I'm the very first person in my bloodline to not be born in Ghana.
Oh,
But
okay.
my parents are from Ghana. They came here in the 90s. I did an ancestry test, and I'm mixed with a lot of, surprisingly, stuff, but majority Ghanaian, and then the Benin Empire. And so when you were talking, Uncle, about the Benin
My
Empire,
queen, okay.
I was
Okay,
like,
good.
I was like 13% benign, so
No,
it's scary.
say
I
one
feel
more
like
time.
I
Say
have like
one more
my
time.
ancestor, like while what you were saying is true, as someone who has 13% Benin in her, I know that the empire did a lot of
No, that's a different case. Let me tell you why. That is not white people. I'll tell you why. So what happened is that Nigeria, right, the eastern Nigeria, was actually the basin for kind of humankind. Like that Igbo area. I don't know if you have heard about Igbo people.
Yeah.
So that is what they call them. The meaning of Igbo means the first tribe.
the first
That's the
tribe.
meaning of Igbo.
Oh, okay.
It means the first tribe. It's actually believed to be the first tribe that ever existed in human race.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yep. That's why it's called Igbo. Igbo means Ndembo. Ndembo means the old people, the first people. So what happened is that they spread from there. Humanity, especially the dark skin humanity, spread from the eastern Nigeria.
Mhm.
They went all the way to Ghana, Ivory Coast, all the way to South Africa. That is why some part of Africa, when you do whenever they do DNA, most African people, all the way to Ethiopia and beyond, and Egypt and beyond to Arab, they always have certain percentage of Eastern Nigerian DNA. Even Spain, the Spanish people, a Spanish guy told me recently, white Spanish guy, that he has 1% Eastern Nigerian DNA because the Igbos migrated.
Everywhere.
It's always been their thing.
Yeah.
Is it
So
possible that there were like black people here before the slave trade?
Yep.
Yes.
Mansa Musa's grandfather brother was actually king of Mali. So 100 years earlier, he sailed west and gave the father of Mansa Musa to become the king of Mali so that he can explore, because he explored the Atlantic Ocean. He left with over 5,000 birds,
Wow.
60,000 servants, and armies to explore the West in search of expanding his kingdom, but he never came back.
Yeah.
And no ship was ever discovered in the bed of the Atlantic Ocean to actually say that he capsized. So there is no history of him capsizing. So they were the ones that came here
Yeah, that makes sense.
and started the black
Wow.
race here. That was actually 500 years before Columbus came to America.
Have you noticed that Black American people are I have noticed that when I go back to Ghana, like the men are much smaller than the African American men here.
Yeah, but
And I
the reason
wonder
why
if it's because those original people were like
Maybe smaller. I mean, like smaller.
and they like all the big men left.
I think the height differential and the body differential is the diet of
Also
what we were
nutrition,
fed
yeah,
when we were in America versus Africa. Because Africa and their tribes, they all, how do you tell one from the other? Well, they all have the same characteristics and features. You can physically look at somebody and
And
kind
say,
of guess what tribe they are,
you're Igbo,
right?
you're
Because
Yoruba. Yeah.
and exactly, right? So don't go over there because you saw how he looks and this and that. But in America, we're all kind of mixed up, and we've taken this identity called Black, and we've robbed ourselves of our identity of who we are as Africans or as Jamaicans. Now, I say Jamaican, I say Jamaican, but Jamaican just is just a piece of land. The people on it were from Africa, descended from Africa, so we're all African in root. The problem is when we deal with Europeans, what is the story? Well, you were all in huts. None of you had anything worth anything.
Then
There are
why'd
people.
you leave Europe then?
Yeah, exactly, right. But what they'll say is what we've been taught here in America is you're broke. Nobody wanted you except for us Europeans, us kind Europeans who told you to get on this this yacht or whatever it is, this cruise ship, and we gave you a better life because if we left you in Africa, you would all be starving and this and that. That's the European narrative. Yeah, you're welcome. We enslaved you, robbed you of everything, your identity, your name, your God and religion, your culture, your
Wealth,
everything,
your inheritance.
They forbid us from reading and writing and educating ourselves, but yet they want to call us stupid and dumb and can't learn anything in 2025, right? So they made up all these rules in America so that we were never supposed to be free. We were never supposed to be president. We were never supposed to be governor. We were never supposed to be a CEO. Jay-Z's not supposed to have his money. Oprah's not supposed to have her money. Nobody is supposed to be, and any person who is especially Black or a descendant of Africa is not supposed to be successful or powerful or free. Written in the original document. They have not edited it. They have not changed it. Europeans and white people have not woken up one day, looked in the mirror and said, these old rules are fucked up. Let's actually write something better with ChatGPT, a new set of rules that say, hey, we're all human beings. That's not an idea. That's not an idea that they have of us when they see us. That's not what the police see. That's not what the judge sees. That's not what any jury sees in any trial. That's not what a teacher sees. It starts from 5 years old when a white child is able to push a Black child and a Black child gets up and pushes back. It is only the Black child who suffers consequences and is seen as an aggressor, not the white child, never the white child. It is always a system that defends the actions of the white child, and that happens at 5 years old, all the way up until college or whatever have you. Because what do you hear when you hear about a school shooting? Well, he never would have done this. Well, we never knew. Well, there were no signs. You hear all of these. Yeah, let's wait until we get all the facts. But when it comes to Africans or Black people doing anything, we don't need a trial. We know what happened. He needs to suffer the ultimate consequence, which is the death penalty or life in prison, without an investigation, without asking a question, without looking at video, without getting witnesses. Anything.
I gotta say this, right? I gotta say this. One thing that I've learned in life is never to argue with a white person, just walk away. Because number one, when they cocktail something, when they lie, and you back them in a corner, they resort to violence.
Yeah.
Just walk away, because guess what? You must believe their lies. That's how they see it.
Yeah.
Their lies is their lies, no matter how you catch them, their lie is their lie. So the only thing you can do, like I tell people, is what the Chinese do. Just ignore and keep doing what you're doing.
I would say we need to do there's something else that needs to happen that maybe could happen through YouTube, is that a lot of African elders and a lot of Jamaican elders and a lot of our elders need to come up on these panels and tell the actual story instead of us relying on some article that somebody somewhere wrote and now we're supposed to believe that as doctrine. No, I'm sorry. No. Hear the actual story as it was told by the people who lived it or survived it or was a child or grandchild of it. They have all of the information. Every single non-white person in the community does this but us. And then when Mr. Ikene, when you're explaining it to Sweeney or when you're explaining it, what do you hear? You hear nothing but pushback. you hear nothing but, "Oh man, this is bullshit." You're just victimizing us.
Yeah.
No.
They're saying
You're
in the
not. You're not
comments.
do.
They're
Oh,
saying
go ahead.
they're saying in the comments. So Revan said, "Enter the Dragon. You're out of your mind and causing more damage than good."
He's a white guy. He's a white guy.
No,
Don't worry about it.
he's
He's a white
not.
guy. He's a white guy.
Ase
He's a white
says
guy.
we are mixed. Oh, hold on. He's
What
a
was he
white guy.
saying?
Don't read it.
Well,
Okay.
even if doesn't matter.
No,
He says,
he's a,
nobody
no.
is demanding Mexicans or Puerto Ricans to claim that they are Africans.
Nobody is demanding Mexicans or Puerto Ricans to claim their
Mhm.
not
Our
not
own
what I
people
said.
think we are degenerate. They left Europe for resources to create an empire, and I'm black, so don't time me out. That's what the person who you said.
But you see what I mean when you hear, like, here's the thing, like, we've been like I said, like, I'm 43 and I've heard the European narrative all my life.
yeah.
But when you hear it from the actual tribe, your own tribe, your first initial reaction
Emotional
is
reaction
rejection. It's emotional reaction. It's defensive. Well, I
of
like
course,
my
because-
black identity. Although no one's
you hear
robbing
what
you of your
Sweeney
black
said?
identity, we're giving you something back, something that was stolen from you.
Sweeney
We're not
says,
taking anything
you're
from
not
you.
my people. I'm not you.
Right.
No one who sold me is part of me.
That's
is
shameful.
not just culture. That is like saying you abandoned me, you rejected me, we were supposed to be family. Well, I am never going and because you rejected me, because you didn't claim me, and I came here and they still don't claim me. I'm
Right.
like where do I fit in? And then so Black American people have created out of nothing.
Let me put it this way.
Segregation.
Let me put it this way. Let me
Unnecessary
put it this way.
segregation. Go ahead, Mr.
When
UK.
I first came to America, right, I would say this way. I was shocked. I was shocked, but at the same time, I was ready to be in the community, make friends in the community. But
Really?
yeah, yeah. I tell you, that's
gonna
just
be
who I
honest.
was. That's where I was. But the pushback, the disrespect, the insult, the name
From
calling
Black
that I
Americans?
got broke
Yeah.
my heart, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like,
that's
and guess what? Let me put it this way.
yeah.
The Black Americans in America think that Africans don't like them. No, what Africa doesn't like. No, I'm coming. What Africa doesn't like is the attitude,
Right.
the disrespect.
Yeah.
Because they think we sold them in slavery. Then, as soon as
Right.
we come here, they start disrespecting us. Then, when we talk back, then they get mad. They're like, "Oh, now you're going to talk back."
Get out
So
of my
it's like they want to. It's like they were like they want to put it this way: you come to America, we're going to strangle you, and you better not say shit. That's
Yeah.
what they do.
Or we call
But
you,
what I
or we,
try
or
to
we
tell
call
them,
you tethers. We call you tethers, and we call you this, and we call you that, all to disassociate you from us, as if because I think it's a what is it? An emotional abandonment, right? It's like the child who was left on the thing. That's the feeling,
And now it's like,
but
I
that's
don't
not what
need-
happened.
But that's exactly right. That child is angry.
Right.
That child, and also that child, to prove to you that that you actually don't have the power to hurt them, they reject you. They don't
Right.
care if you come back. And you saw it on this panel, like the divide between what's his name, the bald guy,
Darwin.
yes, and the Jamaican guy.
Straight lace or straight something.
And then we had someone come up immediately, like they were clocking him. They were, like that tit for tat back and forth.
Yeah.
To create that division that happens in real time when immigrants come here and Black Americans interact. It's like this constant, like, you're not one of us type.
It's because what we've been told was a lie. It's a lie. What we've been told about Africa.
and the
What
bad
we've
thing
been
is,
told about Africa is a lie.
And the bad thing is, like, I'm looking at the guys in the background. There's in the chat room. They're like, "No, you guys came here and became condescending." I wish that was what I did, or maybe what most of us did when we came here. We always became condescending. That would have at least given me an edge. At least I'm coming to fight you. But the thing is that we came here thinking that we are all brothers.
You're right.
Thinking that, oh, you know what? Let's band together because these people wronged us.
They're
These
my
white people
people.
stole from us. And guess what we get? We get pushback. No, you guys are the one that sold us.
Right.
And we're like, what the hell are you talking about? How
Right.
you see, right off the gate, they've confronting you right away. So when I see people in the chat room typing all this nonsense, I do nothing but laugh. That is why whenever I come across, I tell folks this all the time. The most confrontational, condescending people in America are actually Black America. But I like it. Even though they're the first condescending people you meet, disrespectful. The reason why I like it is because at least I know. Unlike white people, they will laugh in your face, smile you, welcome you, but they got a knife in their back.
Right, but the difference between here's what I think Black Americans like hate about Africans. You never lost who you were. You weren't lied to. You have your last name. You have your culture, you have your religion, you have your God, you have your tradition, and it's never changed. We were robbed of all of it, and we had to build something completely out of nothing. And so it's a pride issue, but all of our pride, a lot of it was built on a lie. It was built on the perception that we're not supposed to be anything but what we are. And we're not. We're more than that. And we have similarities, like the songs we sing and how we communicate, how Africans don't really know what a lie is. But what we say in the modern era is keep it real, keep it 100. Come on, man, tell the truth. No cap. Like we still are clinging on, we still hang on to honesty and truth when we communicate as people. Lying is a language. Lying is an entire dictionary language that people use to deceive each other in order to try and get what they want or to try and escape accountability. And that is not our natural language.
You know, in Africa, right, there is a thing that says if you get to a certain age, especially at the age of 35, you're not supposed to lie.
Right.
At
You're supposed to
all.
grow out of it.
You're supposed to grow out of it. And
Children lie. Children lie.
Lies for children and young adults. If you lie at that age upward, you have so much problem because nobody will ever believe you.
Right.
And an African man's greatest blow is being called a liar.
Yeah.
Because once you call him a liar, he's an outcast.
Yeah.
That means nobody believes you. And if nobody will believe you as an African man, you done.
You're right.
But in
Credibility's
America,
gone. Right.
right, lying is kind of
The second language.
Second language. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It was so hard. And my parents struggled a lot with that coming here. I struggle with that because we grew up in the community. People call us naive, but it's like, why? There's no, I don't know how to explain it. It doesn't make sense to say you're going to do one thing, promise someone, shake their hand, and then do the complete opposite and then try to stab them in the back. Like, what?
It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense because it's not our culture. It doesn't belong to us. Deceiving and lying and saying one thing and doing another is not how we roll. Even though we've been here for as long as we've been here, that's never been us. We've never been able to achieve any wealth, power, or freedom through deception. We've never been able to do it.
All the Black Americans left the chat. Like,
oh, of course. Well, I'm
some
American.
are still there.
I'm American. Okay, I'm American as I gotta go.
go.
I'm American as well. I was born here in San Antonio, Texas. My father's from Jamaica, so hey, it is what it is. But the truth is hard to hear and it's hard to accept because you have to reconcile with everything you've been told previously. It's hard. It's easier for us to accept the lie than to swallow the truth because the truth is medicine, and medicine always tastes bad. It leaves a bad aftertaste. You have to completely change your biology when you have medicine. Medicine, though, the only purpose of medicine is to improve the human condition from what it currently is. And we have a problem swallowing medicine because all the junk food and all the crap and all the lies are very hard. They're very easy to live with.
I agree.
Okay, guys.
All right. Well, I'll see you guys.
Good night. Take care.
All right. It's been a good talk.
Good talk. This is a good conversation. Is JR still here? We just got a super chat.
Okay, sorry. I'm gonna read the super chat. Okay, guys. You guys, I've been paying attention to the comments this entire evening, and I know everyone has an opinion on it. I'm gonna read this super chat out loud. So TJ Ship says, "The more Dragon talks, the sassier he sounds." That's crazy. My people follow yours like list puppies. Congo English said, nose job, not your hair, speaking in code. Okay. Oh, so this is a good comment. So Generation Love says, your religion was not stolen. Hamashi desired a relationship. Y'all. Okay, you guys. So, like I said, okay. Family Business says we are not the baby boomer generation. I think that's important because Black Americans or foundational Black Americans do not all think alike. Y'all are not a monolith. Generationally speaking, there's a huge difference. And I think we see that with like the current divide between Black women and Black men in modern day society for sure.